Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in to Danville Dashers hockey here at the David S. Palmer Arena. We're back for another round of exciting FPHL action here in downtown Danville, Illinois, where the Danville Dashers will be taking on the Port Huron Prowlers, who already are providing us with a plentiful amount of storylines tonight. Dennis Michelson joins me. Dennis, what is going on, man?
Well, the old saying is you can't tell the players without a scorecard. Well, the scorecard isn't going to do a whole lot of good for anybody out here at the David S. Palmer Arena, because apparently the Prowlers, you know, they were packing for the big road trip.
Right.
Toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant. All right, I got everything I need. You forgot the jerseys?
We forgot the jerseys?
We forgot the jerseys!
Turn the bus around, we forgot the jerseys.
Yeah, it was a little mistake. So, you know, they're going to be in practice jerseys tonight is what I understand, and they even had to borrow some socks. You know, it's getting a little desperate here at the Palm, but should be a good game between two teams that, well, they put on a good show the last time they got together.
Yeah, I will say, at least the jerseys look nice. These aren't just like, you know, sometimes teams warm up in literally just awful warm-up jerseys. But these, they're decent. I'll give credit. Mistakes happen. We're still going to dog on you for it all night because that is fun.
Yeah, could you imagine if they didn't have numbers on the practice jerseys? They'd be busy duct taping numbers on right now.
Are you trying to tell me I should be aware that we lucked out with them for getting their jerseys yet?
I think we lucked out. Only about 9 different numbers for us to figure out, including some of the guys that are regulars on the team. And of course, no names on most of the back of the jerseys, although I see a few names. So
yeah,
we'll at least have a few chances here, although I have a feeling the names might not always match with the player.
You know what the names say, Dennis?
What do they say?
This is not a sponsor, but the names say Fairfield Inn, and it is all of them.
Hey, it's easy to call the players then. Fairfield takes a shot. Fairfield with the rebound.
I think that's what my go-to is going to be, actually. Now that you mention it, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I saw the name. I saw lettering on the back. I did not notice the details. That's hilarious. So it's going to be a fun night for the announcers.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun night for us. It'll be a fun night for everybody in attendance here. The pre-Christmas weekend and festivities in full swing here in downtown Danville. You drove in, you saw the lights, you saw the Fisher Theater all lit up, and you know, it's a beautiful night for some hockey here in Danville.
It's going to be a little tough on the announcers for the Danville Dashers players as well, because a lot of the injured guys are back. And Sam Turner makes his 2019 season debut tonight. Big addition to this club, but it's going to be a tough time seeing some guys out there that we haven't seen in a while. But here's the good news for Dashers fans. Fred Hine is back and in uniform tonight and in the starting lineup. That is a big deal for the Danville Dashers.
Arguably the biggest news, I would say, coming into tonight. This is a huge matchup, Dennis, not only for us here in about, you know, the mid-season, the Christmas break, but the second place Port Huron Prowlers, because we go by win percentage in the FPHL. Whatever your thoughts are on that, it's second and third here.
Yes, and whoever wins, if somebody can sweep this weekend, they will be the undisputed second-place team. So that's the good news here. So Dashers with some work to do on their home ice.
Right. We're going to take a break, basically, as we get the starting lineups here. I'll read them off to you really quick as we go and see the festivities here in Danville. But Ben Bukal, fresh off the return, gonna come and play here in the defensive spot. He'll slide in for the Dashers into their starting lineup right off the bat at the right defense spot, and rightfully so. Partnered with Alex Palmerville, the two spent quite a bit of time together at the beginning here. Mitch Atkins is going to be playing center here for the Dashers, with Christers Bormanis at the right wing, Fred Hine, the returning goal scorer and leading goal scorer, at the left wing, and Jesse Gordachuk, the ever-reliable, one of the best goaltenders currently in the FPHL, behind the backstop there for the Dashers. Now, on the other side of the ice, Corey Simons has been a heck of a story here, especially recently. Has the best goals against average in the FPHL. A heck of a goalie. We saw him a lot last year, Dennis, and it's safe to say he's hit another gear this year.
undefeated so far this season at 5-0, and the Dashers hoping to change that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guarding the net in front of him, it's going to be Parsons at the left D and Young at the right D, with Graham playing the center spot and Nippard back on the right wing with Robertson at the left wing. Now, David Nippard, someone to watch out for here for Port Huron, playing the forward position. There's a lot of goal-scoring potential on this ice, but also a lot of very good defenders on both of these teams here, worth mentioning. You know, you got guys like coming off the bench for Port Huron, like Zachary Zolkanitz in the forward position, Jonathan Giuliano, Dalton Jay, Justin Portillo. All these guys are capable of putting up a point on any given night.
And in all different numbers tonight for you, so that'll make it exciting.
Lots of fun for the national anthem here with Kurt Kaiser.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rent the air, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Time for Danville Dashers hockey here live from the David S. Palmer Arena. If you're just now joining us, Kurt Kaiser singing the national anthem as the players make their way to the benches, and we're going to get ready for the face-off here on the opening night of the weekend homestand for Danville against longtime rivals Port Huron.
Had a chance to talk to Coach Ray Tremblay before the game, as we always do, and Coach Ray pretty excited to have these fresh legs back, some players that he's been missing, and great to see him back in the starting lineup. And he's actually very proud of how his guys have fought through all of the injuries to stay in contention here in second place. And he expects big things for the rest of the season.
It's always good to have confidence, especially when you've played so well down so many key players. One of them just walked right past us behind us there with Justin Browsen making a way through the stands, talking to the fans. Fan favorite and hockey player favorite. Man, that dude can shoot, score, deke, whatever you need him to do out there on the ice, he can do it.
Fantastic player, and the great thing is, as we look up in the skybox today, there's fewer chairs occupied by injured Danville Dashers, so that's a good sign. Teams getting healthy at a key part of the season.
And the good thing about having more options there, with some of the guys, you can get healthy scratches, and some of these guys have been out there on the ice every single game, making these long road trips from Danville and back. It's nice to have a healthy scratch every once in a while.
And the cool thing about the whole thing is, I mean, you never wish injuries on anyone, but they've gotten a chance to get some other players some playing time.
Port Huron plays it through the zone. We're already stuck across the boards here. Is Danville going to try and get to this one? That's going to be Mitch Atkins that ends up trying to get on it. Instead, it's Matt Graham fighting for it along the boards. Port Huron wraps around, elects to get an offense set up. Slot from the point is saved up nicely by Gordichuk. You like those easy ones, get you out on your feet and ready to go.
Good solid stop for the first stop of the night for Gordy, and we've seen just outstanding play by that young man all season.
Face-off won by Danville. Bukal collects it behind. Bukal looking for a long stretch pass. Instead goes short to Nigel Slade. Slade loses it a little bit. It's tipped up to Palmerville, who throws it through there. Now chasing it is Nick Gullo. You'll see him flittering around the ice quite a bit tonight, as Port Huron now collects it and goes. On it there was Dalton Young throwing it into the zone. On the other end of it is Ben Bukal. Likes a nice spin move and gets the puck around the boards, gets himself some space. He throws it through to his defensive partner, Alex Palmerville, who throws it above the ice. Unable to be collected there by Slade.
Puck just took a bad hop.
Port Huron going to be able to get this one instead and offside. Just a little bit of confusion there is a bad puck bounce, or they might have been in there on Gordichuk. I'm already struggling, Dennis. I'm already struggling.
These uniforms kind of like from the back, they look like the old Detroit Red Wings jerseys
they
of years
kind of
ago.
do, except, you know, those had names on it.
Yeah, names, yeah, they helped you out a little bit as the announcers.
A little bit. On it there, that was Austin Federley, turns it over. It's going to be coming down the right side board here with the Dashers. Atkins was on it, out back again early after a quick shift change. To the point for Brad Denny, trying to redirect it as Fred Hine. Instead it gets out to Murray. Murray fires a shot on that, stopped as a weak kind of fluttering shot there, picked up by Port Huron's defense. Stretch pass, unable to find number 72 there. That would be Zaxel Kanitz. That one's flipped up nicely there by the Dashers. A shot on goal is redirected there by Simons. Another shot there as hard into the boards goes Fred Hine. Murray's going to recollect this one and pass to Hine, who stays out even with a little bit of a shift change. Bormanis throws it down the ice. Hine juggles it off his stick and brings it back down. Danville trying to fight for this one along the boards. Fred Hine going to now get a shift change, and Danville gets it off successfully, even though it's in their offensive zone here. It's just caught up along the boards. Now Federley's going to try and run with it. Instead, Justin Portillo, Patrick Zalak going to run with it through the blue line here. He's got help from Barakov. Zalak carries in, tries to throw it out over the blue zone. Nobody home there for Danville. A nice offensive play nonetheless, and Port Huron's going to try and break the other way.
Dashers put a lot of pressure on at center ice.
Tipped up and into the zone by Port Huron. On it is Seth Ensor, who throws it up. Back to Zilak. Can't quite make the connecting pass. Port Huron going to have an opportunity here. Nobody sees the cutter. Gordichuk does, though. His stick gets it done well enough. Coming across the zone there was David Nippard.
Good job by the Dashers forwards to come back and help out, too.
Barakov dumps this one into the zone. Zilak going to fight for it with number 13, Joe Pace Jr. Nigel Slade unable to intercept that pass. It comes all the way across there to number 51, Matt Graham, who is thwarted as he heads towards the net. Ben Bukal with an even longer beard than the last time we saw him. He didn't participate in the end of No Shave November. He decided to keep going. A shot on net after a nice puck deke there was Palmerville. The defenseman showing some nice stick ability there as he gets in on Simons, but like we said earlier, it's going to be awfully hard to beat Simons on anything non-spectacular in the long run.
Palmerville, following his shot, actually got the rebound and a second shot off, so good hustle by Palms there.
That's why you follow your shot, kids. Basketball, hockey, soccer, it's all the same. Follow that shot.
Really impressed with this in guy who's playing a lot for the Prowlers tonight. Must be one big family.
Might be. Great Fairfield End team there. We're giving them some good sponsorships. Maybe they should sponsor us. Now coming the other way with it, Danville. A pass tries to get to Fred Hine. Instead, it's caught up. Fred Hine fighting for it with his stick now on goal. Dashers have an opportunity just wide right of Simons. Not far off was Mitch Atkins. Port Huron going to try and run with it now.
Welcome back, Fred Hine.
Yeah, Fred Hine making the hustle play. Another shot. Oh, almost buries one from the deep point.
Had him beat high, just barely missed it.
Brad Denny with a nice defensive play there. Fred Hine going to have a little bit of space now, going to have a deke and a deke. Going to pass it back. A shot is saved by Simons. Corey Simons already being tested early and up to the task so far.
Fred Hine trying to make an early campaign for Hustler of the Week.
Brad Denny almost thwarts an opportunity there. Instead, number 63, that would be Well, there's no 63 listed. Must be 53. Jonathan Giuliano with the shot on goal.
That Fairfield guy, pretty good.
I'm just going to continuously call them the Fairfield in guy.
Still works good as a bailout.
I'm still bitter, tennis. Nick Gullo carries behind the net here. Out to the point, Brad Denny back to Gullo. Gullo makes a quick turn. He's going to try and drag this one behind net. He's quickly thwarted by 2 Prowlers. Now Port Huron going to try and run. On it there was number 48, Chris LaVille.
I will point out that it could have been worse if they didn't have practice jerseys that they travel with. They could be in backup Dashers jerseys right now.
Nigel Slade's shot is tipped up there by Fairfield into the netting. That's Brian Parsons. You have brought this upon yourself, Port Huron.
It says Broncos on the bottom, too. I love it.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat can explain what the Broncos are to Port Huron, I'm down to listen. I'm very curious now. I've noticed it. Some of them don't have it.
No, not all of them, but
shot from the point. Simons does nicely to scoop that one up.
I noticed Simons might have gone to like Goodwill to get a pair of pants to play in tonight because he doesn't match the rest of the practice uniforms for Port Huron.
He does not. You kind of wonder if maybe lent a pair by one of the
he might have borrowed one
fellow goalie Creed members. You know, that's a brotherhood in itself.
Yeah, I think he got a little help from the home team.
That's always nice. That's what it's all about. It's a Christmas spirit. Face-off ruled ineligible downfield.
Hopefully there'll be a hole in those pants, though. Let a goal in here.
Yeah, right through the 5-hole. Dashers win the face-off. That was Tesserero that ended up fighting for it in the back. Out to Bukal. Bukal throws it in, and that one comes all the way back around to Tesserero. Tesserero unable to control that one. It's going to end up with Port Huron. Fought back for nicely by Patrick Zylak. As he gets it back, he's going to throw it across the middle, almost finds Barakov. Instead, going to find Palmerville, who throws one into the point. It's wide right of Corey Simon's net.
Bukal wasn't home there at the point, kind of cheating over to the opposite side.
Bukal to Palmerville. Tesserero going to get to this one.
Good hustle by the Dashers to start this game.
Zylak on it now. Puck kind of lost there in a scrum. Instead, it's going to be Barakov. Barakov fires it across to Murray. Murray with a shot from the point. Comes right off as high on the glass as it could have without going out of bounds. Now Port Huron going to run the other direction. On it now, number 51, Matt Graham. Graham to the wing. A shot, a hard shot is swallowed up nicely by Jesse Gordachuk.
Saw that one all the way. You're going to need a lot more than that to beat Gordachuk.
The Broncos, we've now been informed, thank you, Samantha Cuppin, it is for the Humboldt Broncos, which is a great thing to do. I'm a huge fan of that, and answer given. Thank you. You can always trust the chat.
We have the best fans in the league.
We really do. We really do. I think this league has some of the best fans, some of the most loyal, dedicated fans in all of hockey, if you ask me. And some of the best players. Here we go. With Port Huron dumping it down across the side. Skates harmlessly behind Gordachuk. Brad Denny going to fight for this one along the boards. Kind of comes out across the middle and going to run with it is Christos Bormanis. Bormanis fires one across to Hine. He's going to come off on the rebound of this. Down behind the net. Throws one.
Beautiful.
That was a beautiful backwards pass. Murray lets it go between his skates.
Great idea. Had the defense beat, but the puck just had the Dashers, just eluded the Dashers.
Murray over to Denny, dangerously in front of Gordachuk and corralled by Gordachuk for a defensive faceoff.
Well, that puck was on edge, and when Denny tried to put a stick to it, that thing hopped right over his stick and right at his goaltender. It's a good thing that Jesse Gordachuk, as always, prepared for the worst to happen, and it almost did.
Face-off here to the right of Jesse Gordachuk is won by Danville, bringing it back around through the defensive zone, looking for Nick Gullo, who's played into the boards. Port Huron with some nice defensive offense to get that one back. Ooh, a shot well done by Jesse Gordachuk to cover the hole. Comes off the blocker. Danville going to try and recollect here on defense. Port Huron brings it back, shoots it down. Chasing it was number 53, Jonathan Giuliano. Instead, it's going to come all the way back around to number 39, Dalton Young.
Ooh, good defensive play by the Dashers to rub him off into the boards and steal the puck.
A long stretch pass off the boot of a Prowler. Nigel Slade's going to end up on the end of it before it's picked away there by Port Huron. Down in front of the Port Huron bench here, Slade gets back to his feet, and Port Huron collects the puck. Port Huron almost playing with 3 defenders at times, it seems like, in the back. It's worked so far. Tesserero on it now. Tesserero loses it for a minute, and it's poked all the way back to the right defenseman for Port Huron. A long pass off the boards, picked off by Ben Bukal.
8 minutes gone in this first period. The Dashers have had the upper hand offensively, but this crazy game of hockey, we're tied.
You never know with hockey, that's for sure. Palmerville elects to take some time, rally the troops as Port Huron's push numbers forward. Now to Patrick Zylak. He's got Barakov coming across the left side. Zylak carries. Zylak scores! Beautiful play! Zylak, the 5-hole like predicted of Corey Simons, as Patrick Zylak has the Dashers on the board.
He had already coming up the opposite side on the left-hand side of the ice, wide open. I think Simons was expecting a pass. Instead, he pushed it right through for the score. And maybe there was a hole in those borrowed pants.
Maybe that was the point.
The Dashers cash in.
Danville up 1-0 here with 11:23 to go in the first period. Patrick Zylak, no doubt about who that one was.
Love the energy we're seeing from the hometown boys to start this game.
Slade lined up against Graham. Slade wins it and kind of covers the puck there a little bit to get it to Palmerville, to Bukal, to Slade, through the middle here. Slade to the right wing. A deke from the right wing, and a shot is blocked up there by Port Huron, only as far as Bukal, who throws it back to the defenseman for Port Huron. Slade fighting for it. That one goes off the skate of Bukal and back to Palmerville to collect. We've got a delayed penalty here. Actually an icing, sorry.
I thought there was a penalty too.
I did too.
They had me fooled there for a minute.
I didn't really know how exactly that was an icing, but it must not have hit off the skate as assumed. In the face-off circle, Slade and number 51, Matt Graham. Gullo on it now. Gullo to a shot, a big shot off the shoulder blade there of Simons. That was off the stick of Turner, who's making his Dashers season debut. Sam Turner came out of college to play with the Dashers last year. Ben Bukal on this one now. Man, the Dashers gotta love having Ben Bukal back. That's easy.
Solidifies the defense, but he's also good at those nice long passes to get the offensive attack going as well.
Passed over to Austin Federley. Federley tries to link up on offense there, and the Dashers are going to have an advantage here with Fred Hine, just who you want on the puck. Hine over to the side. It's unable to be corralled there, but Danville remains with the puck to the wing. A shot from the wing, trying to find Mitch Atkins. Ends up finding the backboards.
Great crisp passing from the Dashers.
Fred Hine with a shot from the side, and that is blocked up nicely by Simons. Now coming the other way with it is Port Huron's going to have a 2-on-1, a 2-on-1.5 per se. A blocked up shot goes to the right of Jesse Gordichuk. Now Fred Hine's going to collect it and go with it.
Good back checking prevented that from being a disaster for the Dashers.
And that was Brad Denny making the effort there, and Brad Denny picking off that pass. Murray on it now. Murray pass to himself off the skate of his Port Huron attacking wing there. Simons, the first one out of his net tonight, comes back behind to grab it. That's passed over to Federley. Federley with a nice pass there to Matt Stoya, excuse me. Stoya behind it. Tesserero going to end up with it though. Zylak, the goal scorer, tries to throw it back to Tesserero. A nice defensive effort there, a huge collision, and that was the result of some nice stick work by Tesserero. That's what you want a veteran to do with his stick. Now Port Huron going to have a 3-on-1. Running with it here, number 16, Brian Parsons. It's dumped up, nothing coming to that initially. We'll see. They hold it into the offensive zone now. Brad Denny on it. Tesserero laying chase. Swallowed up by Gordichuk. The shot off the stick of number 71, Justin Portillo.
Initially, good effort by the Dashers to break up that play, but Port Huron kept on the offense. And the Dashers sort of got a little unorganized there in their own defensive end, but bailed out by Gordichuk.
Man, we're already to the first period media timeout, Dennis. 8:54 left to go here in the first period. Danville up by a score of 1-0.
A lot of wide open play again here in that first quarter, and every opportunity the Dashers had, they were pressing the advantage. It wasn't just this passive getting the puck out lazily from your own end. Every time they went to clear, they were looking for the long, aggressive pass to get the offense going. Also winning the battles in center ice. If Simons wasn't playing so great, they'd be up 3 or 4 to nothing right now. That's just how much the Dashers have turned it on here in the first part of the first period.
There's no doubt about that. Corey Simons doing a great job already in the back here for Port Huron. Coach Ray Tremblay, you think Dennis has to be happy about what he's seen so far?
I think he's liking the hustle. What we've seen from the Dashers so far this year is they've gone into this 2 or 3 minute stretch during games where all of a sudden on the defensive end they don't seem to be as confident in clearing the puck, and they get themselves into trouble. We haven't seen any of that so far tonight.
Well, we're going to hope it stays that way. Right now, we're getting ready to go for the second half of the first period here in Danville.
Maybe the Prowlers didn't remember to pack their offense also.
The Dashers with 7 shots so far tonight. Port Huron with 5. Patrick Zylak from Artem Efimov Barakov, who on that first goal, the only goal so far, as we're back into play here.
About 5 more shots by the Dashers that have gone wide or high.
Logan Hoggood ended up with that one on the end and almost finds Barakov. Instead, it's going to be carried over. Tesserero with a nice deke and a shot off the pad of Simons. Seth Ensor with a nice play there to keep it in as Zylak grabs it. Can't keep it in a second time, though. Port Huron going to come the other way with it. Justin Portillo tries to carry. He is
his pocket.
Stripped there by Barakov. Zylak tries to fight for that one as it's going to be passed into the zone there as far as Ensor. Ensor over to Hoggood. Slade runs with it. Slade a shot from the point. Unable to hold it in is Simons as he is way out of his net for that one and freezes it successfully.
He was fighting that shot off. It wasn't that strong of a shot, but it seemed to kind of handcuff him between, do I go for the glove, do I go for the stick, do I take it with the body? Fought that puck off and gave up a rebound in front of his own net.
In and out of the glove seemingly easily, it would look like. Maybe a backup glove too. Full story coming soon. Port Huron shot goes wide to the left of Gordichuk, and that one's going to be collected by Joe Pace Jr., Mr. Fairfield in 2019. We can only assume. Nigel Slade bringing it in now. Slade with a shot on Simon, almost redirected in by Gullo. Simon's shaken up by that one. Came right off the blocker. Port Huron throwing this one down. They might want to just try to hold this one down there and get Simon some time.
Yeah,
he's back
Simon
up.
Still looks shaken up.
Oh, and Gordichuk, a threatening shot there as we saw Port Huron almost score as well on the other end. Wide open hockey here at the Palmer Arena. Gullo going to fight for this one.
Down to 7:15 in the first.
David Nippard plays it around here. That one goes as far as Joe Pace Jr. And almost a beautiful stretch pass there that would have found Zaxel Kanitz. Instead, it's going to come the other way with Danville.
Little offside action there. Slowed that play. Fred Heim was looking for that long pass when it didn't come.
Atkins in the face-off circle for Danville against Solkanitz. Solkanitz, one of the ones that has the same numbers. Love to see that. Fred Hine pass is picked off there by Port Huron's defense, and we're going to re-go again. Gordichuk with a dangerous pass there that found no one as he was wide out of his net.
Yeah, the Prowlers are just waiting for that pass.
A nice stick there is going to lead to Fred Hine having a chance here. He's actually going to pull back and dump it down the ice. a clattering of sticks. I'm sure you heard that through the microphone coming behind the net there. Nice stick work there as the Dashers going to have a shot from Troy Murray in the side.
Prowlers just not putting a body on any of the Dashers so far.
And that was Atkins with some nice work there. Coming the other way, a great opportunity off Dalton Jay. Comes off the face mask of Jesse Gordachuk. If he had put that anywhere else, you got to think you like his chances better. It's hard to make a shot through the goalie's head.
Always using his head, that Gordachuk.
That was Ben Bishop, Western Conference Finals 2019. Although his was a concussion. We hope Jesse doesn't have that. Gordachuk calling for an icing. Instead, it's going to be touched up by Hawgood. Dashers getting a shift change here. That one's thrown through.
Look out.
Almost a nice opportunity there off the stick of Jonathan Giuliano.
Prowlers starting to put a little more into the offense here.
Now coming the other way with it as if on cue. Hatham Oid passes it across there. It's going to come as far as Justin Portillo. Portillo across to Oid. Oid shoots. It's up high over the net and back around.
Not even close. Apparently his GPS didn't get packed either.
No, Gordachuk almost off. Oh, and almost caught off the line there as open wide. Justin Portillo unable to do anything with it. Danville really need a break, and they don't get one. And that's a goal for Port Huron.
You could just see the Port Huron Prowlers take advantage of a little bit of that lull on the defensive end that we see from the Dashers from time to time, and just started pouring it on. Portillo couldn't find the net for the life of him there for a couple of shots. Had a wide open chances, but finally the Prowlers cash in and tie it up with 5:06 left in the first.
Yeah, you can't be caught that long out on the defensive shift. That's one thing we know for sure in this league. Tired's legs do not prevail. As that face-off's won by Port Huron, thrown down in the offensive zone again. They'd like to get a second one here and quick.
Amazing how the offensive legs never get tired.
Nope, they sure don't.
Defensive ones do.
Danville going to run with this one down the right side. Nobody takes the puck with them. Instead, Bukal going to carry with it. Bukal with a shot from the point off Simons. Bukal tries to grab it. Instead, it's going to come along the boards to Gullo, who throws it back around the other side there. Going to get as far. I do believe Austin Federley was touching that one up.
Good job by Gullo protecting that point with his defenseman in on the attack.
Instead, that was Alexander Stratt getting his first minutes, touching that one up. Port Huron a nice hand to get that one in, and Gordachuk has to extend his arm to shove that one out. And we're going to have a puck frozen or a net off place, probably both.
Gonna really see the stats, the playing time stats skewed tonight with Fairfield in logging so many minutes here.
So many minutes, and at every position. Yes. This guy is an NHL creative player. Danville succeeds in, or does not succeed in getting out of the pressure behind the net. Instead, Gordachuk's gonna have to freeze this one again.
That was a tough chance.
And Gordachuk has had to stand on his head here the last couple of seconds and sometimes take a puck with his head. But 1-1 here with 4 minutes left to go in the first period.
All of a sudden, the tide turning. Let's see if the Dashers can get that momentum back.
Murray fighting for that one with number 72, Axel Kanitz. Trying to come the other way with it. That one's going to be a hand pass. It's not going to be a hand pass. It's going to be an offsides instead. Full control with the hand was never established. Now coming the other way with it is Austin Federley. Federley, a quick shot, swallowed up by Gordachuk. Dashers unable to do anything. Somebody's got to lay a body.
Dashers letting the Prowlers just have their way on the offensive end right now. Dashers have been real sloppy with the passes too, which has given up some good opportunities to the Prowlers.
Yeah, you almost just kind of want to see him get out of this period at this point. Not looking good here down the stretch. Fred Hine lets that one go, elects to trail behind Mitch Atkins. Atkins carries through with a nice deke, but he's thrown off by Federley.
Ooh,
trying to make a run for it. Dalton Jay going to have some space. A wraparound is sucked up into the back of the net. This one might get frozen. It does. That's in the back of the net. Nobody could get it out.
Gordichuk had that right post well guarded. They weren't going to sneak it by him on that side.
Going to get a quick shift change here. 3:13 left to go in the first period.
Notice Dash is festively dressed tonight with the little dancing lights on him.
Got to wonder if he'll have a festive, ugly sweater for tomorrow.
Oh, that's tomorrow night?
That's tomorrow.
I thought, looking at your sweater tonight, that was tonight.
It kind of is. Ugly sweater night is every night for me. I'm a big fan. Coming the other way, threateningly, Port Huron, a shot from number 24 there, fired over the net.
Oh, look out.
Big opportunity there.
Dashers not getting this puck out of the zone, and Gordichuk is just fighting off every shot here.
Seemingly having no answer right now. Well, how's this for an answer? Now you got an odd man rush.
Two.
Ben Bukal, Patrick Zylak across to the right wing. Barakov not quite there. Instead, it passes back to the D. Palmerville with a shot from the point. Simons on top of that one. It's going to be tough to get anything else past him at this point.
Big collision by two of the Prowlers behind the play, but they're going to be okay.
Dashers could have run fast there if they wanted to. No such luck as Brad Denny's going to like to bring this one behind the net. Over to Nigel Slade. Slade with some space on the ice as Slade brings it down. Going to need some nice stick work to get past this Port Huron defense that's been feisty so far. Slade behind the net with that one. Simons bats it away with a stick. And that was a stretch pass. Almost finds the stick of number 29, David Nippert. Slade elects to throw this one down the ice. Going to make chase for it's Nick Gullo. It hits off Gullo and then is batted down the ice by Port Huron. Gordichuk having to do sweeper keeper on that one.
Offside.
Offside called. Port Huron had scored, but I don't think there's any contestation about that one being offside.
No, it was a clear play there. But boy, risky for Gordichuk all the way out to the circles.
He had almost no other choice. He kind of looked like a hockey goalie, or a hockey goalie. Yeah, he is a hockey goalie. A soccer goalie on that one, as they teach you to kind of cut the angle off. But man, that was risky, and that's putting it lightly. A nice backwards pass there. Ends up finding Mitch Atkins. Atkins with a shot off the leg blocker of Corey Simons. You're going to have to do better than that. You're going to have to attack the rebounds to get past him. Port Huron coming the other way. 1:20 left to go as we see number 51, Matt Graham, on it now. Graham with a shot from a tight angle is harmlessly taken off by Gordichuk. Stick tie there as the Dashers have an advantage. Fred Hine on the left here. A pass can't get through. Trying to send it through was Bormanis. Instead, it's going to come all the way out to Bukal. Nice defensive effort there from Port Huron. Atkins on it now. Atkins with a shot on. That one's sticked up and into the glass by Simons. Port Huron coming the other way with it as Palmerville plays defense. Oh, a fast break there from Port Huron, swallowed up by Gordichuk as that one ekes out and gets back to Palmerville. Out in front here are the Dashers. Coming up, a shot from the right side. Too narrow of an angle on that one for sure. Now intercepting Port Huron. Coming the other way with a 92, Dalton Jay. Jay almost goes through the legs of Palmerville. And the net is way off the railings. You're going to see that one called every time. 30 seconds, well, 30.1 left to go here in the period, if we're being specific.
Very dangerous play there. Dashers defense made a good first play on the attack, but a trailing player by the Prowlers went unchecked and almost cashed in there.
Almost. As we're at a 1-1 deadlock, one wild here in the first period, 1-1. First period's 11th second coming up, 23 seconds on it now though, as Bormanis is going to collect this redirected shot and try and sling it across to Palmerville. Palmerville carries a little bit across his own blue line, and that one's harmlessly plugged back by Port Huron. Bukal going to hold this one. It looks like the Dashers are content to take this one to the period. One last push here, perhaps. No, that one's going to be slot back. 1 second and gone. As we've got a 1-1 tie at the end of the first period.
Well, the Dashers came out for about the first 15 minutes. It was all Dashers, but they could only cash in one time. It just took one bad little streak there of a couple of minutes for Port Huron to just pour it on, and quite frankly, Nate, Dashers are lucky to have it tied right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A couple stops by the face mask of Jesse Gordichuk, and man, the Port Hurons looked threatening. Quite a few shots just going over the top of the goal, and for the Dashers, it's been the problem of getting good chances. It's not so much been getting the shots, but the shots that they've had, they've either been weak or from a tight angle, or they've been blocked up before they had a chance at getting anywhere near the blue zone of Corey Simons. I think it's safe to say this Port Huron defense is actually doing the job now. Simons letting up a goal in 13 shots. And, well, if you have a bad period, you need your defense to step up. They've done that so far.
We expected a tight game, two well-matched teams, and we're getting it.
Yeah, we definitely are. Well, one thing to take from this period, Dennis, coming into the next period for both sides. Let's start with the Dashers.
Well, the Dashers, one of their strengths this year has been drawing penalties, and there wasn't a single penalty in the entire first period. I think we need to see the Dashers really push that advantage when they've got it and try to draw some penalties, but because their power play has been very, very strong. Although I will say this for Port Huron, they've been one of the best penalty killing teams this year as well. But I just think the Dashers need to have that good, consistent offense we saw at the beginning of the first period and carry that through the rest of the game.
That's what makes these teams so interesting to me. I think they're so well matched to have these tight games, and that's why we've seen the results that we've seen. They're very, very well matched to play one another, and I think that makes a huge difference. And we'll also see that come into play down the line tonight and in the season as a whole as they fight for these second and third place teams. Carolina well in the lead right now.
Two teams that are almost identically built. You've got good, strong goaltending, good, strong defense, and one guy on each team. It's Robertson for Port Huron, and it's Fred Hine for Danville that have done a big chunk of the scoring for their respective teams. Need to see more of a balanced attack and some of the other guys getting in on the act for the Dashers for them to come home with a W tonight.
You do. It's not often you see Fred Hine kept off the score sheet, and I highly doubt that'll be the case tonight as we see Danville and Port Huron go head-to-head here. Well, we're going to take a break for just a little while here. We'll be back with the second period and then the third period. You know, maybe even a little extra hockey. I wouldn't doubt it the way this game's going so far. We'll see. We'll be back with you in just a little bit. back at the Danville Dashers Broadcast Network here at the David S. Palmer Arena, downtown Danville, Illinois. Tie game 1-1 here with 1:08 left to go in the first period intermission, not the period.
The fans always boo the referees, so I had to cheer them just to make them feel good.
I wonder if that is really a good strategy for fans to boo their referees.
I'd actually cheer them because you want them on your side,
Yeah,
man.
I don't think you really want to boo those guys.
Don't want to antagonize.
They're also really nice guys.
The zebras.
So, yeah. Don't pester the zebras inside the glass enclosures.
Don't poke them.
The same
Don't
rule
poke
applies
the
at the
zebra.
zoo as it does the hockey rink. I've been thrown out of both. I should know.
Now, the opposing team, it's good etiquette to boo.
Right.
But I
That's class. That's classy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I always love the music
Yeah.
here at the Palmer Arena when the visiting team returns to the ice.
Usually it is themed, which is very fun. Tonight's sounds fairy-ish.
A little festive.
Maybe for Fairfield Inn.
Festive. Oh, there you go.
He's racking up a lot of minutes tonight. Let's talk about him. The automatic first star of the game,
Man.
Fairfield Inn.
It's going to be tough to keep him off the star list tonight. You know, this is just absolutely hilarious seeing every player on the opposing team.
And you know,
With Fairfield in on the jersey.
it's
That's
one of
just
those
great.
things, right, Dennis? It's for people from Port Huron watching or Port Huron fans watching, it's not us making fun of the team. It's accidents
No.
happen. That happens at every maybe not jerseys being forgotten happens at every level, but some kind of accident happens at every level. And it's just kind of us taking advantage of the moment.
Gotta
This will
have a
never
little-
happen to us again more often than not.
We have to have a little fun with it. Of course, the equipment manager for the Dashers, the pressure is on you to get it right for the next road trip.
Yeah.
We'll never hear the end of it. Hey, it could have been worse. They could have forgotten the skates.
That's true. Could be a lot worse.
Or the sticks.
They'd have to play with the arena's ice skating skates. That'd be a lot of fun.
Or the helmets.
And very dangerous. Dangerous describes Port Huron's offense. They win the first face-off here as we head into the second period. Chip down to Jesse Gordichuk, who chips it himself.
They really poured it on in the last 5 minutes of that first period. Dashers need to take over control of this game again.
Ooh, a nice drag there as Port Huron's threatening again. Trying to thread it through there was Matt Robertson.
Great play by Ben Buccal, though, to snuff that one out.
Buccal going to actually carry this one a little bit. He's got space. Buccal going to wind up a nice deke there to get a little bit more space. That one dumped across the glass. No one there, though, in the end. Nick Gullo tries to grab this one, ends up getting it on his stick instead.
Very impressed with the Dashers every time.
Murray going to have a shot here. It's back to Gullo, actually. And Port Huron has wide open ice. Brad Denny actually there off the side. Denny blows a skate. He got a little excited. Slade tries to blow this one out. Instead, it's fought up into the bench of Danville.
Before that play started getting exciting and I shut up, I was going to say that the Danville Dashers doing a really good job. Every time Ben Buccal gets real aggressive on the offensive end and goes deep, one of the forwards is coming out to the point to cover his position.
And a lot tonight, that's been the job of Christos Bermanis, actually, I've noticed. Now coming the other way with it, Austin Federley carries it around the boards. Federley so fast, so threatening. Just about every occasion. Brad Denny does nicely to knock that one out of the defensive zone. He's going to have to do another job here again. Instead, Gordichuk steps out to grab that one. It's going to find Denny anyway as he lets that one go all the way to Federley. Federley cleans that one up tidily. He's pushed into the boards by Denny. Oh, right in front of goal as Federley has a shot right off the leg of Gordichuk. Federley in on goal. That one's going to be frozen up almost by Gordichuk. Instead, pucked around behind the net. Fred Hine out to the left. Bormanis is, we should basically call that one a shot. That was a hard pass. Almost no chance to get a stick on that one, Fred Hine. Is that one actually going to be an icing?
It was a good idea, bad execution for the Dashers. Couple of occasions here, the Dashers have been really close to getting an odd man break, but the puck just hasn't been cooperating. And the Prowlers have made good recoveries.
Port Huron wins this one out. Brings it out to the point. A shot from the point is blocked up by a mass of bodies. Danville going to have an advantage instead. A bad pass there. Fred Hines going to end up in the left D spot trying to recover with it. Brad Denny lets it go off his stick. Denny lays a nice physical contact hit there to kind of stop up the chance. Brad Denny finds it again. Man, what a nice defensive play there from Brad Denny.
Oh, another good stick by the Prowlers defense.
Danville cannot rightfully connect any passes here. Coming the other way with it. Port Huron. On it now behind the goal, Jonathan Giuliano. Giuliano out to Stoya. Stoya and Giuliano run into one another. Danville comes the other way. Murray elects to slap this one down around the ice. It's going to get as far as Barakov, who's actually going to get called back by the bench. And Port Huron is going to play this one down, as that one's fought for on the boards by Ensor and 2 Prowlers. Oh, a beautiful play there to get a backhanded shot, but it's nicely deflected by Gordachuk. On the shot there was number 51, Matt Graham.
The Prowlers putting all kinds of pressure on.
From the point, Matt Graham tied up there with Gordachuk. You'd be surprised if we don't see something come of that. Graham has been in on Gordachuk all game, and eventually somebody's going to have to step up, or that's going to end up with a goal.
Last time we saw these guys in action out here at the Palm, it got pretty aggressive in the second and third periods. We have gone penalty-less to this point here with 16:53 left in the second.
Kind of surprising at that rate. I mean, not that these two teams aren't capable of keeping it clean, but just a little bit surprising not to see any penalties whatsoever yet. You don't see that too often. Turner passes a nice pass over there to his left wing. It's put on Simons. Simons deflects it out for his defense. Picked up nicely there. It's Gullo fighting for it. Gullo on it now. Gullo with a pass to the point. A shot!
Oh,
and
beautiful
it's wide
chance
to the left of Simons. That shot coming off the stick of number 39, Nigel Slade.
Good to have Slade back in the lineup, too. We were missing him for a few games with that hand injury.
Fun story how he got that one, right?
Yeah, goalies have hard heads, apparently.
They do, indeed, especially when you punch their helmet. Port Huron able to collect this one and send it across to the right wing. A nice stick there is going to end up with the puck on Fred Hine. Hine, a long shot, is swallowed up there by a defensive effort from number 27, Alexander Strack.
Good stick by Strack.
I like it.
Just been waiting to say that all night.
Icing on Danville. We're going to bring this one back down in front of Gordachuk. The defensive pairing of Palmerville and Bukal out there on the ice for Danville. Austin Federley comes back out onto the ice for Port Huron. We saw some nice back and forth play in the first period. Now, more so Port Huron kind of controlling the majority. Bormanis tries to pass one through. Instead, Fred Hine going to have to recollect this one in fear of icing. Now it's going to come back to Bormanis. This one's onside. Bormanis with Atkins trailing. Bormanis off Simon. Atkins tries to fire the redirect. Simons with a nice job to keep that one out.
Fred Hine come close to another rebound.
Murray and Denny having to put in a shift there. That pass on the other side. Gordachuk on it now. Denny grabs it out of Gordachuk's hands, basically, as this one is played behind the net there by number 27, Zaxel Kanitz.
Hey, wouldn't mind a stoppage in play here to get some fresh legs on the ice.
Fred Hine flips this one long. Looks like Bormanis is going to be able to get on the end of it. Instead, he's thrown hard into the ice there. As Port Huron able to recover. They've got numbers if they move fast. Instead, it's going to come out to Denny after an errant pass. And a turnover and sloppy play there by Danville. Coming with it, Sokanitz. Sokanitz with a shot, a rebound, and a nice defensive play there by Brad Denny to stop a rebound shot coming off. Barakov drops to Tesserero. Tesserero with a shot that goes wide right of Simons. That one was tipped up. Tesserero on it now, basically alone there. Barakov also out there with him. Zylak tries to slide to keep that one in the zone. Instead, Port Huron going to come the other way with it.
Dashers did a good job of getting some fresh legs while keeping the offensive effort.
Tesserero tried to force that one through, and Port Huron tries to force one right back. Instead, tipped up by Danville. Now going to end up with it is Brad Denny. Denny pushes alongside the boards. Port Huron going to come the other way with it now. 71 there on it, Justin Portillo. Portillo with a shot, bordered away by Gordichuk. Rebound swallowed up there, Tesserero.
Oh, that was AJ.
This one's coming the other way. A nice backwards pass, a shot from the point there off the stick of Portillo. Port Huron unable to get a rebound shot off, and they're going to regroup here with 13:44 left to go in the second period. From the point here, a shot off the leg of Barakov. Unable to do anything with it as Danville, as they end up on the other end of it, but Port Huron quick to recover. A nice interception there as Danville almost has an opportunity. He got caught in the shift change, though. Nigel Slade now carries behind net. He ends up with it after a little bit of contact there. Slade with a shot that's blocked up nicely there by number 16, Brian Parsons.
Slade tied up on that play legally. Good play by the Prowlers.
Oh, it was a good defensive play, a good offensive play, just a good fight for that puck.
So Nate, when we renegotiate our contract for next year, I got a request we need to put in. On all lines, got to have players with different numbers. The Artemoff and Tesserero, that's too close in numbers. Too confusing.
You cannot have the same first number.
We need a better union.
We need a better union representative. Dash is not doing the job. This one comes back to the bearded Bukal. You think he only does that because the name Bearded Bukal just flows so well?
Rolls well, yes.
Port Huron with a threatening offensive chance there. Danville going to be able to come with it. A nice stick move there from Slade. Ends up finding Bormanis. That one's thrown out hastily by Port Huron. Federally kind of looming there in the offensive zone. Instead, dumped down. Danville going to get a shift change as Matt Atkins comes back on. Christos Bormanis looking for a shift change, not getting one there as he waits along the boards.
Second period, it's a long way to your bench from the defensive end.
Gullo with a pass across the slot, nicely intercepted by Port Huron though, as Danville would have had a wide open left side on Corey Simons. Murray on it now. We haven't seen him control the puck a lot in the offensive zone. It's been a lot of back and forth. That one dangerously out in front of Simons. He doesn't corral it. Port Huron quick to get it out of the zone though. Brad Denny back for it. Laying chase there, number 92, Dalton J. Fred Hine going to end up with this one, firing a quick shot, a hard wrist shot. Simons up to the task and takes it off his wrist.
He wasn't really sure that one was coming so quick.
I wasn't sure that it was going to be a shot. That one was shot as well, but that one ends up in the wrong net, up in the top net.
Have we mentioned in the last 3 minutes how good it is to have Fred Hine back in a Dashers uniform?
No, we're violating our contract.
Love seeing him get a chance at the next level, but glad for the Dashers to see him back home.
Not going to come back for an icing. Speedy Port Huron offense able to get on the other end of it. That was Justin Portillo. Not to be confused with Austin Federley. Very similar hair, but very different person. Bormanis carries. He's got Hine in support. Bormanis with a shot. That was flicked up nicely there by number 13, Joe Pace Jr. A shot from the point there. Finds nothing but glass. It's going to come all the way out there to number 17, Hatham Oyed. Bormanis carries across the blue line. Bormanis. That's a shot off the face mask of Corey Simons. That's 2 face mask shots on the night from one each goaltender. You use whatever part of your body you can, I suppose, right? The Dashers able to tie up Oyed there and keep the puck in the offensive zone until he gets it back. Kind of a nice soccer pass to himself off the skate. They fight for it there as Bukal's going to actually end up with it. Bukal with a chance, a nice deke there to find himself open in space. He's going to hold this one along the glass and hope for some support. Across the net, goal! Fred Hine!
Buried it! Ben Bukal, great to have him back here to get that offense going. We kind of lacked having a defenseman who could take the puck deep into the offensive zone. Goes behind the net, flips it out front, and Fred Hine buries it.
It all happened so fast. It was trapped along the boards, and before you know it, it's out in front of goal. right past Simons, and Simons let up two goals with 10:35 left to go here in the second period. You know, Fred Hine scoring, not a surprise, Dennis. You know what is a surprise?
What's that?
Battle Creek is currently beating the Elmira Enforcers 5-2.
Look out!
Look at them go. We knew they were going to get better. That wasn't the question. It was just a question of when.
Coaching change.
Palmerville, a shot from the point.
I think we got a penalty coming up, maybe.
I think so. It could be called interference. The net might be off the mooring. Doesn't look like it, though.
I thought we might have a penalty coming there, but nope.
I think we just had a loss of sight of the puck there, perhaps, from the back judge.
I think there was concern about the net as well.
Right. Yeah, right now Carolina up 2-1 over Menor. We'll get scores in a little bit here. Another shot from the point, almost buried in. It's fighting for it as Nigel Slade in front of the net. Corey Simons does a nice job at hunkering down and stopping a couple shots there at once.
All it took was a couple of quick offensive chances, and now the Dashers hungry on that offensive end.
Sure seems that way. Well, Fred Hine, we said he wasn't going to stay off the score sheet forever. Got to talk about the work of Ben Bukal so far tonight, too. That'll be worth watching, especially with the absence of Johan Hoagland, who was called up to the next level.
Yeah, Johan, unbelievable player with a great shot from the point. Kind of knew that he would be getting a chance at that next level soon. I would expect to lose Fred Hine again during the season if Evansville has another injury.
Can't remember exactly which player it was, but one of our guys described Johan very well. The Swede called him nice guy, likes hockey. Good summary. A man of few words, described in as few words. Port Huron fighting for this one. Bukal actually trying to lay a hit there. That was kind of laid on Matt Robertson. Robertson can make something out of nothing, let me tell you. I've seen him do it time and time again. Zylak fighting for this one, nicely kept in the zone. That one comes off of Gordachuk, and we're going to have a penalty here, and that one's going to be against Port Huron. Looked like a cross-checking call, but we'll wait for the official word on that.
Cross-check or a slash. It involved the stick, is all I know.
I know we definitely saw an X made in the air, but we'll see. That's kind of the wait and see sort of thing. We got to wait until we get the official word.
Either way, the Dashers will be on a power play. And again, the Dashers this season have drawn more penalties than almost every team in the league. So good aggressive play.
Jenna Worth, power play. Jenna Worth, your State Farm agent, licensed in Illinois and Indiana. You can get a hold of her at 217-442-4698. No penalty called on that one.
Thought that was a trip.
Atkins goes flying into the boards. Atkins then sees the puck fly over the boards. That's a Matt Robertson interference call was the penalty. He's going to do 2 minutes, now a minute 40, 9:12 left to go here in the second period. Number 15, Matt Robertson in the penalty box. You know, I just got done saying he could create something out of nothing. He sure did.
And that's the kind of penalty you hate to see as a coach, because he took the power, gave up a power play in his offensive zone.
Danville fighting nicely here. Fred Hine ends up with it. Oh, just losing it off of his stick. Almost keeping it in the offensive zone. That one's controlled by Port Huron now.
Dashers had a collision behind the play, too. Nick Gullo and Brad Denny took each other out of the play.
Gordachuk tipped that one back. Now Atkins is going to carry it along. Atkins tries to find Hine. Instead, Atkins ends up back on it. Atkins carries around net.
Oh, Fred Hine just sort of waiting for an opportunity, circling like the shark.
Denny to Gullo. Back to Denny. Over to Fred Hine, who has to grab it with a backhand. Back to Denny from the point. Oh, a nice pass. It's a shot in. Nicely sticked away by Simons. Dasher's going to end up with it still in the long run. Brad Denny on it now, over to Nick Gullo.
Dasher's very active, good circling, forcing that defense to work hard.
Fred Hine passes intercepted there nicely by Port Huron.
25 seconds left on the power play.
Brad Denny gonna have to fight for this one. 7:50 left to go here in the second period.
Time for one rush, down to 13.
Matt Stoya was the one that intercepted that last pass. One last fight here as Fred Hine comes down the line. Hine over to Denny. I think Denny was going for a shift change. Instead ends up with the puck. Denny throws this one down along to Zylak. The power play is over.
Denny got the change after all. Ben Bukal replacing him at the point.
And this one comes around. Dashers still threatening minus the power play here. On it, Zylak. Zylak, the goal scorer, 1 of 2 actually. That's back out to the point though to Palmerville. Palmerville a shot. Simons has to fend that one off. Zylak goes head over heels in front of the net there.
Hard to believe the power play's over. The Dashers is pouring it on.
Hine on the corner. Hine with an angle shot. Didn't go in. Went in the side of the net.
Fans got excited.
Easy to get excited, although definitely not the right side of the net. You'd think being down there they would have seen it. Oh well. It's good to be excited, right? Ben Bukal fighting for this one against Jonathan Giuliano. Port Huron finally getting the puck in their offensive zone instead of the defensive zone. Ooh, a nice pass there. Almost finds Stoya. Instead, it gets past him. Bormanis on it now. He's got a 1-on-4. Bormanis coming and firing. It's tied up. He comes behind the net. And he's still on it.
Wasted enough time to get a full shift change for the Dashers.
And even gets the puck back. Ben Bukal carrying it over. And a shot from the left side is interrupted there nicely by a diving Port Huron player.
Fairfield in with another nice play.
Beautifully done by Mr. Fairfield in. That one is up and out of play.
There's some question whether that puck was deflected or not. And I think the penalty box is going to get occupied for the Prowlers again.
Looks like it. I was thinking it could be the media timeout, but it's not. Looks like Federley's going to take the blame for this one, as Austin Federley gives the Dashers another power play.
Could that be that dreaded dog?
Might be.
That's delay a game.
I slightly picked up on that. Not gonna act like I fully knew what was going on. Also not gonna act like I ever know what's fully going on.
My favorite penalty in hockey, the dog.
That's a bad dog. Dashers on a power play. They looked threatening on the last one, but failed to score on it. That one is...
Puck went out of play, I think, for just a moment up on the bench.
Yeah,
kind of dribbled back out.
Thought so. Palmerville had his hand up waiting for it, but eventually it got called.
Didn't fool the guys in the zebra shirts.
Nope.
They were right on top of that. It kind of
stylish and effective.
Rolled up the boards into the Prowlers bench, and they kind of kicked it back out.
Barakov gonna have to do something with this one quick. He's cut off by the Prowlers and does get it over to Fred Hine. Hine tries to stick it past Brian Parsons. Parsons 2 up to the task there. He actually fires one all the way down to Gordachuk. And a nice play there as he does have to take the defensive face-off.
Wow.
Dangerously close there with the skates came Dalton J.
Yeah, he was just charging on in, and the Dashers defenseman had just kind of waiting for a pass from Gordachuk. But Gordachuk wisely decided to hang on to it because the Dalton J was just flying at him.
Got to be careful skating towards a goalie when he has Chris Affinati on the bench. Affinati's taken down a bigger man before. Dalton J knows that. Yeah, we'll see a little bit probably of Chris Affinati later in the game. It depends on how close this one is down the stretch, actually.
Minute 30 left in the power play.
If he's on the ice, he's always a threat to drop the gloves, that's for sure.
That he is.
5:44 left to go here in the second period. Like you said, on the power play, Jenna Worth power play, the Danville Dashers. Nigel Slade along the boards. Tries to drop it back and does to Gullo. Gullo kind of throws it through to Tesserero. Instead, Port Huron able to collect it. A fluttered on shot there is actually going to end up finding Matt Robertson. Gullo on it now.
As a matter of fact, Affinati dropped the gloves during training camp this year.
That sounds very St. Louis Blues of him. That actually happened in the Blues last year, if you'll remember, and it ended up with him winning a Stanley Cup. So let's talk about that. I just want to talk about that as much as I can.
I like that.
Sam Turner on it now. Tesserero on it now. A nice stick deke. I don't know how he kept a hold of that one. He doesn't keep hold of it much longer. That one's going to be thrown down the ice and
out.
making a run at it, Matt Robertson. Instead, Gordichuk equal to the task. Gullo on it now. He's going to have to move fast. Gullo taken down there by Zolkanitz.
Prowlers doing a really good job of attacking, even though they're down a man.
Zylak with a huge hit on Zolkanitz. There's Affinati out there. He's on the right wing now. Turner with it. Turner pulls it back. Zylak shoots, scores!
Oh, man!
That's how you reply to a big hit. You say, take this net and shove it.
Big time play by the Dashers and cashing in again to go up 3-1 with 4:24 left in the second period.
Affinati's line scores. I've heard that one before.
Cashing in on the power play.
And the Jenna Worth power play now over and coming out of it successfully. The Dashers, you mentioned quite often earlier, one of the better power play teams. Also, Port Huron not living up to the billing as one of the better penalty kill teams so far tonight. Plenty of game left, though, for that.
You may not realize it, but Jenna Worth is licensed in both Illinois and Indiana
Yeah, she is.
for customer service.
And she sponsors just
Always comes
about
standard.
everything. It's wonderful. Port Huron controls it now behind the net there, number 44. That's Alexander Gregorich. Now with some Affinati getting a point on that one, had an assist on it. He didn't drop the gloves. He dropped a point though.
That is one tough kid, but he can play pretty good hockey.
Yeah. Murray on it now. He throws it behind. Atkins going to end up with it. And, you know, Port Huron took their foot off the gas just for a minute and was laying some big hits. One on Patrick Zylak, the goal scorer, and you see how that ended up. Port Huron threatening now, coming down the other way with it. Number 51, Matt Graham. Graham on the left side, passes it out to the point. No one there, though. Dasher's going to have a 2-on-1 if they work fast. Coming the other way with it, it's a pass. It's a shot, a backhanded shot there. Doesn't even make it as far. And it gets out to Fred Hine on the point, just not quite quick enough.
That puck was just on its edge and bouncing and doing the hippity hop. Otherwise, Freddie Hine would have had a chance to cash in on that one.
Joe Pace Jr. with a great recovery there after his teammate had lost the puck, comes up and stops the Fred Hine shot. We are going to get our media timeout now.
With only 3:15 left in the period. Well, it's just been about all Dashers here in the second period. Two of the shots that Port Huron has had on goal came from outside of center ice. One of them a clearing play on a power play that ended up right on net. So pretty crazy how dominant the Dashers have been here in the second period. And the score reflecting that too, up 2 with 3:15 left to play. Good rowdy crowd tonight.
It is, that indeed. I've noticed a trend here, Dennis. Everyone's moving to this side, which makes our job a little bit harder because it's loud. It also makes it a little bit easier, though, it's worth mentioning, as it is loud. So, good and bad.
One of the Dishman Inflatable Kids nights out here tonight. And that cotton candy is looking really good between periods, I think.
Yeah, every time I walk by, it feels a little bit better.
We're downwind from the machine, and it smells very good, folks. Feels like we're out at a carnival.
Ooh, a shot from the point there.
Puck is bounced away.
Bounced out of the glove of Simons. That one's not going to, though.
Whoa.
Slade takes a big strike across the face. A huge slap.
Surprised the arm of the referee did not go up on that one because he took a little bit of a knuckle sandwich to
I
the
bet
face.
that one showed up real nice on the camera. I don't know who that was on the other end.
Woo, a little stick action behind the play now, too.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say it was Austin Federley who's gotten the bad end of the Slade right now. because that was who delivered that.
And I think we're about to get it going here.
This is definitely going to be a penalty. No penalty call.
Wow.
That makes no sense. Okay, here we go down the other end. Nigel Slade on it now. That
had your choice of doing like
Slade ends up eating the ground. Now he's going to get a penalty. That should be a double minor.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly if they don't step in here and kind of calm the players down. Nick Gullo's over there with the tallest player on the opposing team. This happens every game.
In every game, and you know, Nigel Slade is going to go to the penalty box.
Not so sure on that one. Unless it, nope.
No, it's a power play for Port Huron.
I'm really confused on that one.
I just saw both of the Port Huron broadcasters look at each other, and now we're going to look at each other bewilderedly, Dennis, because I don't understand that.
No. That was a rather strange call.
We were too nice to the referees earlier.
I'm going to boo them when they come out for the third.
Instead of applauding now.
I was real nice, guys.
I feel like the only acceptable person that we can have a reaction to is the referees, right? Because if we do it to either team, it's biased. So
yeah, this is true. We got to watch ourselves around here.
Oh, no, that's the opposite of what I was saying, but that's okay. Point shot from Port Huron, a perfect chance to get back into this one. Oh, from the crease there, a nice shot there laid off for number 29, David Nippert.
Big hit.
Palmerville laying the boom.
Oh.
The last time somebody laid a hit like that, the Dashers scored, though, so we'll see. The net
Net's off the mooring.
is definitely off the mooring. It's not going to get frozen, though, as he did that one on accident, and it wasn't enough to warrant a delay. Rightfully so. Good call there.
Able to fix it while the puck was down at the other end.
Yep. That's the nice part about having 3 referees out there.
Actually 4.
Oh, yeah, 4.
That's all right. You went to U of I. You can't count.
I never learned math. I was a journalism major. Now coming back here, number 15, Matt Robertson corrals the puck. Out there with him, number 24, Matt Stoya on the point. This one comes over to Stoya, who has a shot. A beautiful glove save, Jesse Gordachuk. That was a worlder, and his teammates appreciate that one.
That was an absolute rocket, but Gordachuk just snatching it out of the air. Beautiful stop.
Nigel Slade was penalized for holding on that one while he was
down
on the
ice.
ground.
Okay.
That's an offensive lineman penalty. I'm not sure we're playing the right sport.
Maybe there was something before the other hit. Maybe
he was running his mouth. So
maybe the hit was retaliation.
Yeah,
but
you never know.
We may not have seen the first part of that play.
Yeah,
it's
you
always
got to give some credit there. Dalton Jay on this one. A shot from the point. Almost read it, and that one comes in. That's almost an own goal there, actually.
Yep.
As that one looked like it came off the stick of Brad Denny, as Gordachuk had no chance on that one.
Nope, that one was just a sloppy play by the Dashers defense. That was not
the Serve Pro penalty kill. Not killed, as the Port Huron Prowlers pull back a goal. Now it's 3-2 here. We got about 1:12 left to go here in the period, the second period.
That puck was just laying there.
It just kind of smoothly worked its way backwards, I would say.
Yeah, just kind of kept rolling, and a couple of flailing sticks later, it was behind the goalie.
We're back to even strength now. 3-2 here in the game. 1:04 left to go in the second period. Kind of game just really getting started, as well as it seems in terms of physicality. Barakov on it now, Federley fighting for it with him. Barakov had to fight Murray for that one, actually, in the long run.
As the game gets more physical, missing Levi Armstrong tonight might be more noticeable, too.
Yeah, kind of that dual threat forward. He can score, he can pass, he can fight.
And just a good physical player to have out there to kind of make sure you keep it nice and clean out there, guys.
So Canitz almost lands a nice pass across the blue zone. Instead, it's going to result in a shot from the point. Gordachuk with the elbow save.
Man, that was a dangerous-looking shot.
Zylak on it now. He's got Denny behind him as well as Barakov. Denny over, and he finds the stick of Matt Graham instead. Graham now plays it out there to number 29, David Nippert, who can't hold it. Icing waved off, didn't go far enough.
Yeah,
Palmerville on it.
That Prowlers offense can just really get some great shots.
Brad Denny's got to get that one off his stick. He does as time expires in the second period. That was a wild second period, Dennis. That's all I've got to say about that.
That was a crazy second period. The Dashers dominated it for most of the period, but they escape here at the end because the Prowlers were really, really turning it on.
Zach Zolkanit's goal has the Prowlers back within one here at the David S. Palmer Arena. We're heading to the second intermission with a 3-2 score. Well, we didn't think it was probably going to be too low scoring of a game, but last time they were here, I do believe it was about 4-3 and very tight games coming down the stretch. So kind of looking like it might be the same tonight, looking like we're going to get chippy again like we did last weekend as well. The Dashers are kind of a couple lucky calls and some bad passes away, some errant shots away from being in full control of this one. But Port Huron, led by the glorious play of Fairfield N, really crawling their way back into this one. And 3-2 here, they've got a good shot at this game, especially if their offense keeps up what they're doing now.
Yeah, this is where it's really, really dangerous. When it's just a one-goal game, it can turn around in a hurry. The Dashers looked really strong in that second quarter. They were really the dominant team by far from start to finish, but just a shame that they gave up that cheap goal on that power play, because otherwise they could have a nice, comfortable lead going to the third. Now it's a nail-biter.
Yeah, if you're up one in the third, I think that is the most dangerous score in hockey, is down up one into the third. That is just a scary place to be. But in all fairness, the defense looking pretty good tonight overall for the Dashers. Jesse Gordachuk has stopped 28 of 30 according to the FPHL site, with about the same numbers really from Simons. I mean, about 25 of 28 stopped for Simons on the other end. Goals from Patrick Zylak, Fred Hine, and actually another goal from Zylak, who has had a great night tonight.
About 12 of those 17 shots that Port Huron had came in about the last 3 or 4 minutes of that period. They really turned it on at the end of each of the first and second periods tonight.
Ooh, somebody got really close there, but not quite on it.
How does he stay on his feet?
He is a talented man, Dennis. He's a very talented man. Mr. Cam Short.
Cam's a great guy and really connects with the fans out here. He's always making sure the fans have a good time, and here he goes again.
He's got a little help out there, too. Dash is out there as well, and, you know, it's a good night to be here in downtown Danville at the David S. Palmer Arena, and a good game brewing going into the third period here. 3-2 the score. Danville on top of Port Huron. We're heading into the third period. You're not going to want to miss it. Stick around here on the Danville Dashers Network. So yeah, I go to see a movie the other day, right? So they're like, oh yeah, you want the soft pretzel? And I'm there with Girl, a good friend of mine, and we're like, yeah, that sounds good, right? We're hungry. We hadn't had dinner yet. And like, yeah, soft pretzel sounds good. They're like, you know thing's like £1.50, right?
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't care, bring it on. He's
That's
like,
the
are
fun
you sure?
size. That's the fun size.
Exactly. And I was just like, yeah, I'm sure. Bring it on. And they're like, okay. And this is a big pretzel, man, and it comes with some, like, 2 cups of nacho cheese. They're like, we haven't really seen anyone finish this by themselves, so check in with us when you're done. I'm like, please. So I finished it. I went out, gave him the box, and said, I will see you next week when Return of the Jedi comes out.
Bunch of amateurs, man.
Or not Return of the Jedi, whatever the new Star Wars movie is.
It's
Maybe it is Return of the Jedi.
It's Star Wars 27, I believe.
Yeah, no kidding.
Does
Rise of the Skywalker, that's what it is.
Does that mean it's time for another Rocky movie, too?
Probably. Another Creed movie, more like. I'm okay with that, though. Michael B. Jordan's awesome. Well, without further ado, we'll be back here at Danville Dashers against the Port Huron Prowlers, downtown Danville, Illinois. Some good results across the league right now. Battle Creek and Elmira. Elmira fighting back into a game to tie it now.
Elmira.
Getting interesting there. Danville, of course, up 3-2 here against Port Huron. The River Dragons up at home on the Thunder, 4-3. Carolina now firmly ahead of Menor, 5-1, as the Hat Tricks win their 10th game in a row at home against Watertown as well. Port Huron and Danville, a great game so far tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the way. That's going to be a lot of fun, Dennis.
I think we're going to see a few more penalties and a little more physical play here in the third period. That's my bold prediction.
I think so. I definitely agree with that. Slade taking the face off here. Gullo actually ends up with it somehow on the end of that. Don't know how that happened, but the Dashers on the offensive side. Turner actually gets the start in the period here. He's out there with Gullo, Slade, Palmerville, Bukal. Turner moved his way quickly up into that first line, taking the spot of Christos Bermanis.
Boy, having Ben Bukal back on defense, he's just so solid.
He is. He is an all-around solid player. And, I mean, hand, feet, just knows how to use every part of his body to play solid defense. Turner on this one now. Turner with some space. Turner fires a shot wide right of the net there. Bukal on it now. Bukal to Gullo. Gullo throws one across. That was Slade, actually. Gullo in front of the net. Almost redirects one's up into Simons. Simons going to have to resort to freezing this one.
I like this combination with Turner and Gullo and Slade out there. That's a nice active line. You got some high energy players out there. Great to see Sam Turner back, playing his first game of this season.
Dashers dump it down into the offensive zone here. Atkins was on it. Now on it is Dalton Jay. Jay actually links up with Federley on the run here. Federley with some space. Gordichuk off the right elbow as Federley tried to go the other way with it. Port Huron does a nice job at keeping it in the zone here. Off the boards, Brad Denny with it. Instead, it's going to be picked up by Hine. Hine throws it down. It doesn't get very far, though, before it's picked up by number 24, Matt Stoya. All the way around the boards to Denny. Denny over to Murray. Murray to Hine. To Bormanis. Bormanis holding on to it. A shot goes right into the 5-hole, and it's swallowed up by Simons.
He wasn't quite sure that he had it all the way there for a moment. He was a little worried about giving up an easy rebound in front of his own net.
Ends up keeping it frozen nonetheless. Simons has really recovered here recently. He's let in 3 goals on the night. That's well above his goals against average, but that's to be expected. It's a high-scoring Danville team comes into play at home. They're looking for goals.
Quick shift changes for the Dashers, minute 32 in, and we've all seen all 3 lines.
Tesserero over to Murray. Murray carries across the blue line. Offside is easily a shot is picked off by Simons. That one's going to come back.
Just a little eager by Zylok getting offside there. Good opportunity for the Dashers. Goes away by about a foot. Offside by about a foot. I always say it's a game of inches. It was a game of 12 inches there.
No kidding. A fired on shot there off the stick, I do believe, of Tesserero. And Murray back with it. Murray out to Tesserero on the right wing. Tesserero fires it across the boards. That's going to come all the way back for Zylak, who elects to take it. Barakov on it now. He's tripped up a little bit there. A clean play. A nice defense from Port Huron. Flicked out of the zone there by number 53, Jonathan Giuliano. Zylak carries over now. A shot from the point is swallowed up nicely by Simons. That was off the stick of Artem Efimov Barakov.
Artie with a great idea there. He knew that the shot wasn't going to have a lot on it, but he was hoping to get a rebound. Dashers with two guys just waiting for that puck to come loose, but no such luck. But they will get a face-off to the left of the Prowler netminder.
Port Huron wins out on this one. It's tipped up though. Gullo with a shot. That's redirected out by Simons. Off the boards and up and over.
Good quick shot there by the Dashers as that puck just kind of found a Dasher stick.
Just kind of fell nicely into place there on a tee. We call it a golf tee.
2.5 minutes in, and it's been pretty much played down in the Prowlers' defensive end here.
Elmira just took the lead, no longer tied in Battle Creek.
Oh, come on, Battle Creek.
Not too shabby for a team thrown together pretty quickly there.
And that new coach is doing a good job of getting that team fighting harder.
Could see the interim coach become the main coach here. Nick Gullo carries it through. Gullo so fast, even too fast for himself there. He blows a stick, ends up with Slade though. Slade put into the boards. Be interesting to see how his minutes are evened out. He's drawn quite the ire of the entire Port Huron bench. David Nippert on it now. He passes it over to Gullo. Gullo tries to wrap around with a shot. Instead, it's going to come all the way out to Bukal. Bukal with a nice spin to get back on this one. Instead, Port Huron going to come the other way with it. It's a 2-on-2. Ormanis was nicely back there. Now Port Huron coming with it again. A shot from the point. Bukal with another block.
Dashers almost getting caught on a shift change.
Bormanis with a nice delay. Almost redirects off Simons. Bormanis, the victim of some nice defensive play there from Port Huron. Ensor on it now. Ensor going to fire it across as the Dashers, very close to being onside there. That one's going to be stopped up. And both sides going to recollect here in the middle. Fred Hine didn't like that one.
No, he thought he had a leg straddle in the line already. And actually they're going to make it a center ice face-off.
Very, very close, but a little bit of a close call there either way. Ensor throws it behind to Hine. Try saying that 3 times fast.
A little chippy play behind the scenes there.
No icing as that one's tipped up. Atkins going to end up with it now. It's not an advantage, but he's got a shot. Oh, a nice backwards pass there. Almost plays victim to Port Huron's defenseman. Christos Bormanis is
Puck
shaken
came up and hit him in the face.
He is not doing too hot there, and that one's going to be an icing actually in the long run. Bormanis kind of grabbing his mouth there. I think you hit that one on the head.
Yeah, that puck came up right into the face, right under the old eye shield. Always finds the skin. It's amazing.
You know, it's one thing, and I am always impressed by hockey players, but especially at the fact that they consider wearing a cage, which I would have to wear because I'd be terrified. They consider that kind of, you don't really do that unless you have to kind of thing. You know, I'm even more impressed when you take that into consideration. I'd want to wear a cage.
One tough sport.
It is.
And he looks like he's going to be fine for his next shift even. That's how tough these guys are.
Man, Austin Federley so fast there down the left wing. Nothing to come of it, though, as Tesserero holds him off.
Oh, just thrown to the ice.
Tesserero kind of got choke slammed.
And he's now Zylak behind the scenes is little.
Right in front of the referee, a shot on the goal of Jesse Gordachuk is saved by Gordachuk. We're getting chippy here. A couple cross checks thrown from both sides.
It's going to get out of hands if the Zebras don't get involved more.
Port Huron, a backhanded shot is barely off of Jesse Gordachuk. Gordachuk having to fight to secure this net here. Down in the back of the net, Port Huron now. Someone runs into Gordachuk. He's down on the ground behind the net. as Port Huron's going to have a shot from the point.
I think.
Finally, the play has been stopped.
And another
right
play.
In front of the referee.
Dirty hit in the back again.
Is Joe Pace Jr. putting his stick into the back of Patrick Zylak.
Not shocked to see that from Joe Pace Jr.
Nothing being called yet. We're getting a signal for a shift change here, but no penalties.
Dashers player was standing there defenseless, and a cheap shot in the back by Joe Pace Jr.
And Chris Affinati's not going to stand for that.
No, that's exactly what is needed here.
Here comes Chris Affinati on Joe Pace Jr. Pace has got him hooked up. He throws a right hook into the face. Affinati's got him tied up nicely, though. Got a hold of his shirt, lands a right hook. Joe Pace lands a right hook. Another right hook as Affinati's almost got him on the ground. Affinati in the headlock. Pace with a right hook. Affinati with a right hook as the helmet comes off. Pace and Affinati tied up here in the center of the ice. No referee eager to stop either of those two. Affinati's helmet is off. Pace kind of just electing to grab onto his jacket. Hosts the jacket up over his head. Affinati lands 2, 3, 4, 5. Pace with another right hook as Affinati gets a left hand free, swings one into the jaw of Joe Pace Jr. Affinati and Joe Pace Jr. on it now, letting him go still. Affinati now underneath Joe Pace. Pace got a hold of him. They're both on their feet. What troopers here as Affinati tied up, got a left hand free. Affinati hits the ground. Joe Pace Jr. has him on the ground, but I'm not going to call that a fight won just yet, as a couple good hits thrown by both sides there.
If the referees are not going to step in and do anything about a cheap shot like that, you have to defend your player.
And that's what Affinati's out there to do.
Great job by Chris Affinati to do so. The only problem is, did he come off the bench during that change, and will they take that in consideration and give him an extra penalty? That's my only concern right now. But either way, that was much needed. That was a cheap shot in the back, defenseless player. Wasn't a big hit by Joe Pace Jr., but it was just a punkish play in my opinion.
Yeah, and Austin Federley laid a cross check right before that one. Now, Nigel Slade has been pestering them a little bit, but you never want to see a cross check to the back of a jersey like that. Slade kind of talking to the referees about it now. Referees kind of sorting this one out as Fred Hine and number 51, Matt Graham, wait to find out what the final verdict is.
A couple of weeks ago, we saw a rather chippy start to a game here, and we saw the referees do a fantastic job of keeping the peace and giving the fans a good game. It was hard hitting the rest of the way, but the players stayed within the rules. Here, we're not seeing the referees being assertive enough, and now the players are trying to take over, and it's going to turn into anarchy if the Zebras don't get more involved.
Even right now, David Nippert and Nigel Slade are talking across the referee. Actually make that Patrick Zylak. I think that's a friendly exchange.
I'm seeing a few smiles on the faces of the players.
At the very least, a sarcastically friendly exchange.
Yeah, there's no love lost between these teams right now. And
Fred Hine reports back to Coach Ray Trombley.
Slade and Nippert have been getting into it left and right all game, so wouldn't be surprised to see those two go at it again.
Fred Hine is chatting with the Port Huron bench as well.
It's
always a good thing to see nothing called off of the fight like that.
Looks like it's going to be a power play, though, for the Prowlers. They did give that extra penalty.
But no one's in the box.
Yeah, but the box is still open, waiting for...
Ensor is now going to go to the box.
Yep.
I'd like to see the official ruling on there.
Instigation penalty. It's a good call.
Yeah,
if that's
came
what
off
they call
the
it.
bench for it, but...
That was my big fear, but it was worth the 2 minutes here if they can kill this penalty.
I wouldn't have been surprised to see it not called in that circumstance.
Yeah,
Strong slap shot finds Gordichuk.
They let the cheap shot go from Pace. That's what should have been called, too. So it should have been evened up there.
And with 4 on the ice there to watch it, you would think something like that would go unattended. Regardless, a Port Huron power play serve pro penalty kill. Shot from the point, tied up in front of Gordichuk with an athletic save with the glove to keep that one out of the back of the net. He had a top shelf goal there if Gordichuk didn't extend.
Pads were sprawled out on the ice to prevent the low shot. You're right. Tried to go up top shelf, but quick glove action by Gordy keeps them up by 1.
Face-off won by Port Huron. Looks like it's going to be collected by Danville, though. Stick tied up actually allows Port Huron to get it. We're going to have a penalty here.
Penalty. Oh, what are we going to have here?
Hooking, it looked like. Looks like it's going to go on, maybe on Port Huron there.
I think so.
And it'll be number 29, David Nippard, making his way to the bench.
And so much for the penalty.
It was indeed an Affinati instigation penalty and a Joe Pace Jr., Chris Affinati fighting penalty.
Yeah, I can't argue with the instigation.
Yeah, there's not much you can say about that.
Affinati did a good job getting his 2 minutes worth on that penalty.
He definitely did. That was a long fight as well.
They did put on a good show.
They do, and they've known each other a very, very long time.
Yeah.
We're going to get an offside here. A little bit of a slip up there by Matt Robertson, I do believe.
Yep, he kind of got the skates. He had one going north, one going south. He was sort of losing control and on the wrong side of that blue line that time.
David Nippard with a high sticking, actually, in the long run.
4-on-4 hockey.
4-on-4 here for 1:04 with 13:59 left to go. And that's a nice goal there. A beauty scored. And it's Joe Pace Jr., or no, Matt Robertson, sorry. Joe Pace Jr. is in the box. His normal number would have been Joe Pace Jr., but instead Matt Robinson draws this game even. This game is even, and that was 4-on-4, which means we're going to stay about the same.
Wow.
Gordachuk beaten there. Top shelf, left side, glove side, as that's the third goal on the night for the Port Huron Prowlers. We got a tie game blooming here in a game that's just getting physical as well. It's a dangerous combination.
Looked like Gordachuk was expecting that play to not develop, but all of a sudden the puck was behind him.
It's the sneaky ones that get you. Nick Gullo fires this one down. Looks like we had an offside.
13:42 left in regulation, tied at 3 apiece. Another 44 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey.
Worth mentioning now, that is now, well, technically 2 power play goals. The second one here, an even strength just a few moments ago, but 4-on-4 nonetheless. So odd man special teams hockey goals tonight for Port Huron. Gullo collects this one. Gullo out there with Brad Denny. Murray out there on the right side in the defensive slot. Carrying this one, Gullo loses it. Slade gonna carry it. Slade put into the boards, but ends up taking the better of that hit as Dalton Jay hit the ice. A long stretch pass right into the arms, quite literally, and Murray is picked up by Jay. Jay with a shot on Gordachuk. Gordachuk with a nice chest save. Anywhere other than that would have been dangerous. Nick Gullo unable to collect that one. Port Huron on it now. It's Dalton Jay.
Port Huron having the best of this 4x4.
Oh, a nice stick deke there as Gordachuk has to save that one twice. Nigel Slade going to try and run with this one. They're going to fix up Gordachuk's post.
Brief power play here for the Dashers.
About 25 seconds worth with 12:44 left to go here in the third period. 51 carrying it there. It's Matt Graham. Graham carries it on. That's his second shot in as many seconds basically here on Gordachuk.
Dashers real confused on that shift change. Actually had only 4 guys out for about 10 seconds.
Palmerville carries that one in behind the boards. Bukal on it. Over to Turner, who's got a little bit of space. It's a bouncing pass, though. Turner on it again. Turner with a shot that just goes wide of Simons. Now coming the other way with it is Port Huron. Number 29 running with it, David Nippard. Nippard flutters that one down, and it's going to be collected by Ben Bukal. No sign of Fred Hine quite yet on this power play, and that expires as well.
Back to even strength, and the game all tied up as well.
Danville going to have to recollect this one, as that would have been offside. Ben Bukal on it now, flanked by 2 Port Huron. Off the boot of the referee. That's not something that you want to see if you're a Dashers defenseman, as that one hits the side netting of Jesse Gordachuk. He had the right side covered, but man, it didn't look great. And Port Huron almost looking like they have a man advantage right now. Ben Bukal lays a huge hit.
And behind the scene, we're seeing little extra hits,
playing
little extra stick play, little extra elbowing.
Little ride 'em cowboy there, it looked like.
think he completed the full 8-second ride on that one.
I think so. That was Justin Portillo playing the part of the bull. I don't know, part of that you kind of got to laugh at almost. Hit him hard.
Did a good imitation of Yellow Jacket, one of the better bulls on the circuit there.
Yeah, great job there. Maybe you'll see him out there at the Gordyville Rodeo next year.
Gordyville, USA. There you go.
Heck of a rodeo put on out there.
Got a good farm show coming up there next month.
Do they have rodeos in Port Huron? I wonder.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
I don't know. It's pretty far north. Anyway, coming back down now, the things that go on inside of my head you don't even want to know about. The Dashers on the offensive zone here. Not a great pass there, and that one's going to come all the way back down to Port Huron. Collecting it in the back there is Matt Stoya.
Oops.
He fanned on that one. You got to take that with you.
Yeah, he left the puck at home as well there.
It is sometimes helpful to take that.
Jerseys are at home.
Laid off there for Bormanis to Fred Hine. Instead coming the other way with Port Huron. Bormanis is able to eke this one out to find Atkins. Bormanis goes down
to the ice
the play.
again. And a lot of chippy play going on after every play. And now
Ray Tremblay threw his hands in frustration after that last hit.
Yeah, the referee's just swallowing the whistle tonight.
There is nothing being called.
And it's going to get ugly here if they don't get involved.
A hard shot there off the stick of Matt Stoya.
Boy, after every single play, we've seen a little extra shenanigans going on. Both teams doing it, but you got to get involved.
Yeah, just about every hit coming with a little bit of an extra stick jerk or a little bit of an extra elbow, maybe even a little hand work.
But Bormanis was just literally thrown to the ice right in front of two officials and nothing called.
And Tremblay unhappy with that, reasonably so. A quick shot there off the face-off. Gordichuk knocks it off, and that's waved off. Rightfully so, as the goal came off the post. Gordichuk kind of knocked to the ground there.
Prowlers won't like that call, but that was the right call. That net was far off the moorings long before that shot took place.
Matt Graham definitely does not like that call, as he's going to get the explanation. You don't want to push these referees too far right now. They'll send you to the penalty box. Affinati and Joe Pace still haven't made their way out of the box. Was that under 5 minutes ago? Man, this is taking a while, hasn't it?
Should be there. They should be just about ready to come back out, I would imagine.
And now Ray Tremblay is getting something explained to him. We'll see.
Ray is so mild-mannered. When you see Coach Tremblay upset, you know that something serious is happening on that ice, because he is the most easygoing guy you're ever going to be around, unless you're one of the players and you're not working hard enough in practice.
The quiet storm is an appropriate way to title him, because, man, when he's angry, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. He can be scary.
Done a great job of taking charge of this team.
Port Huron threatening now. It's a shot from the side. Actually played with a high stick, but I don't think it was seen. It looked like it was just shot wide. This one comes all the way back behind Gordichuk. Murray on it now, has to send it out quick as Gordichuk's behind his net. Port Huron all five on the ice going forward into the offensive zone. Gordichuk plays this one, and 3 Port Huron Prowlers coming in pursuit.
Oh, look out. That's a dangerous play.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, as Gordichuk almost the benefactor of a shot that makes it through the pads. Instead, coming back around now on the other end of it is David Nippert.
You need to get this puck out, guys.
Even if you have to ice it, you got to get it out. Gullo comes out. That'll do the trick. From the other way with it, Slade. Slade with a backhanded pass. It's good enough for a defensive shift change as Palmerville comes out. It comes right back to Turner. Turner to Gullo. Gullo fires one on Simons, who's unable to corral it, but rebound, nobody there, home for the Dashers.
Only got about 70% of that shot, but it was a good one.
9:09 left in the third period here, a tie game at 3-3.
I have a feeling trouble is brewing, though.
You would think somebody's going to score in these last 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes. Turner on it now. Tesorero actually fires a shot. That one's swallowed up by Zylak. Nice defensive play there from Matt Stoya. Ben Bukal on it now. Bukal with a nice spin move to get himself some room. Almost finds a pass, does actually find a pass through to Tesorero. I think he was aiming for Barakov, though. That pass tried to play through there to Justin Portillo. Portillo's going to end up with it on the boards anyways. Port Huron back in their offensive zone. Some active stick work there from the Dashers as we're tied up along the far boards.
Fred Hines' line about to come out back on the ice here for the Dashers.
Barakov lays a big hit after he's tied up. I think both sides will be okay with that one. Now coming down with it, Matt Stoya. Stoya with a shot that's tipped up and out off the leg of Alex Palmerville. Looks like we're going to have the media timeout. Oh no, actually, just Joe Pace Jr. is going to come back to his bench.
And they're doing a good job of letting the guys out one at a time.
Yeah, that's probably a smart move. They've probably been jawing at each other this whole time. And now Affinati will make his way out of the bench. You got to think he's going to get a good amount of applause for his efforts.
And getting a little talking to from the ref before he comes out.
I feel like that's more friendly than anything. You know how much time Chris Affinati spent in the penalty box? The number is very, very high. Let's just say that. 8:09 left to go here in the third period. Threes are wild.
Probably keeps his own cooler over there, so he's got fresh drinks.
You might as well. I mean, it's probably built in at this point.
Maybe get him a little lounge chair over there.
When Chris Affinati retires, I will be leading the charge to name that penalty box the Chris Affinati penalty box.
I like that idea. We're gonna keep that one going.
We're gonna have to fight for that one.
They're not letting him out yet. What's going on?
It looks like he's still just having a conversation there. That would be my best guess, but we'll see.
His time should be up.
If one player is out, the other player should be out as well.
Because if they gave him a 10-minute game misconduct on top of that,
it would have shown up, first of all.
Would have shown up, and he would have been just sent to the locker room.
Correct.
I'm very confused.
Maybe he just likes to stay there. Oh, an opportunity here for Danville fans on a shot. That was Bormanis on it.
Maybe he's streaming the latest episode of The Mandalorian and isn't over yet.
Maybe he's watching us.
That's a possibility. Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Oh, look, he waved. No. Coming back around, Danville on it now in the defensive zone. Port Huron looming large, putting a lot of pressure on like we saw him do last. Oh, a lost his boots kind of thing there from Federley is made shaken out of his stance there on the offensive play. Ensor's going to have to fight to keep that one in. He does not. But Fred Hine back there nonetheless. Bormanis wants it all the way up top.
Yeah, Ensor made a good, smart play to give up on that puck because the Port Huron could have gotten an advantage if he turned it over.
A shift change here for Danville. Gullo, Turner, Slade out on the ice. Fred Hine, Bormanis, and Tesserero make their way to the box. Bench, not the box.
I'd like to see that Fred Hine line out on the ice at the same time that Ben Buchal's on the ice.
You would actually like to see that. I mean, the first line, both sides.
They haven't sort of matched up for a while. The defensive changes a little off sequence right now.
Yeah, and a lot of that might be due actually to the great play of this other line as well. Patrick Zylak having a good night so far tonight with 2 goals.
Getting very good production out of the other lines tonight, which is something we stressed in the pregame show.
Yeah, without a doubt. Zylak fighting for this one along the boards. He's going to come out with the reward. A bad pass there, turns it over. Port Huron having a shot. Comes off the leg of Alex Palmerville. That was David Nippard with the shot. Nippard going to fight for this one against Tesserero. He finds Turner. Turner with the stretch pass, going to get to Tesserero off the stick of Zylak. Tesserero with a nice stick move to get him through. Not far enough through as Zylak ends up in the ground.
And taking a shot in the back of the legs from the goalie, too.
And Joe Pace actually complained that Zylak was near the goalie. Nice save there, actually, coming off. Oh, Barakov's on the break with Fred Hine to his left. Barakov with a shot off Simons, a rebound off Simons.
Oh, close.
And a third shot not there as it's picked up by Pace, who fires a frisbee of a shot. I think that's the only way to describe that. Down into the other zone. A nice play there from Bormanis. And that one, I thought I heard a whistle blow, but I guess not. Coming back now is Port Huron. And that one ekes out of the zone. A nice defensive play there.
Dashers got away with one in the defensive end that took the player down, but nothing's being called tonight, so I guess that's safe.
I guess you play within your parameters, don't you? Fred Hine now carrying from the right wing. He brings it back. He loses that one a little bit, but instead finds Atkins. And Atkins' pass only gets as far as Port Huron's defense.
And I got my wish to call out there now on this with this line, but Fred Hines changing up again.
Fred Hine going to take a little bit of a rest. 4:51 left to go in the third. You got to think we'll see him again before all's said and done.
Very quick shift changes tonight, keeping fresh legs out on the attack.
And with a lot of players back from injury, that's an important thing to do. You know, you get guys out there. This one is shoveled high and flying out to Bormanis. Bormanis on it now. He's taken off the puck there by number 27, Alexander Strack, with a nice defensive play.
Whew, that was a tough play.
And Bormanis would have had an opportunity. Now Gullo's on it.
Bormanis is like taking on the entire Port Huron team and doing well at it.
Slade to Bormanis. Bormanis with a shot swallowed up by Simons. Rebound out in front. It's sticked away there by Port Huron. Two Dashers players collide there. That might have been the biggest hit of the night.
Yeah.
Played with a high stick there, but waved off.
Big advantage here.
Oh, coming down now. Numbers off Simons. Simons does a nice job. Man, he really fills up that goal, doesn't he?
Port Huron made a bad play there and gave up an odd man advantage for the Dashers again.
This one is tied up, and it might be there for a while. Instead, it comes out. 3:45 left to go in the third period. Bormanis on it now in the Dashers' offensive zone. Back to Gullo, to Bormanis behind the net. He's looking for a point, and he comes out, and it's a shot from the point. That was Enser firing one. It's nicely grabbed by Simons. Nick Gullo once again poking the bear there behind the net.
Taking on the largest player on the ice again.
And as someone who saw Zolkanitz in plenty of fights last year, let me tell you, he can throw down. Affinati comes back to the bench finally. Not entirely sure why he was still there, but maybe he was just having some fun.
Ours is not to wonder why.
It is not. It's just to tell you what happens. And tied up on the puck there again. Fred Hine is actually being tied up now. Enser on it now. Enser comes behind the net.
This is the nervous time of the game here now, getting down to 3 minutes left.
Turner to Atkins. If Hine fires high, as Simon's almost able to get on the end of that one. If it was on net, it was going to be hard to stop.
A lot of juice on that one.
Slap down. It's going to come all the way around to David Nippard. Nippard finds actually Fred Hine.
Again.
Tries to poke it out. No such luck. Almost fired on there by Nippard. Instead elects to get it down in the corner. Danville really in trouble here. Port Huron threatening.
Gotta get it out, guys.
Into the back of the net. Nippard out to the point. A reverse wraparound shot. Nippard ends up on the ground. Tesler.
Bodies everywhere.
Bodies on the floor. Gordachuk with maybe the most important save of the game off the pad.
Big stop.
Turner on it. Turner finds some offensive link up here. Danville really needing some time out of their defensive zone. Kyman's forced to stick one away as Hawgood's on it.
Gordachuk needs time to have the antacids take effect. He was just working hard there at the
Hawgood on that one. That one's going to be, would have been an offside pretty clearly, but I don't think.
Smart play by Artie to let that one go.
Yeah, he saw it right before he went for it. Gordachuk with an easy save on a distance shot there off the stick of number 35. That would be actually number 39, Dalton Young, it would appear.
2:09 left in regulation, and the way this one's shaping up, I think saying regulation is a good analysis here. I think we might get some free hockey tonight.
Well, we got a face-off here to the right of Jesse Gordachuk. Port Huron been threatening in recent minutes, but the Dashers not without their fair share. Nick Gullo carries around now. He's tracked on. Gullo loses out there to number 24, Matt Stoya, who's put on a heck of a show tonight in the defensive zone.
Under 2 minutes.
Ooh, a bad pass there, but it's not going to hurt Port Huron as that puck is thrown all the way around nicely there by number 71, Justin Portillo. He's been around a while. He knows what he's doing with that. Palmerville on it with a stretch pass that's not going to quite get as far as Bormanis. Instead, it's going to come out. Slade almost ends up with it. Gullo fights for it, but he's tied up.
That puck seems to have a mind of its own bouncing around out there.
You know, back in baseball, we used to practice with these balls that would bounce in weird directions. That kind of feels like what this puck is made out of right now. Bormanis with a sloppy one-man turnover there is coming the other way is Port Huron. Gordachuk with another important save. 1:16 left here in the third period. 3-3 the score.
Gordachuk bailing out his defense again. Made a very careless play, giving up another big opportunity to the Prowlers, but that glove hand working well. Closing in on a minute to go now.
Someone just said Prowlers win in the chat, and I'm really confused. Anyway, coming out to the point, a shot from the point off the face of Gordachuk. Gordachuk gonna have a little bit of room here. Fred Hine out on the stretch. Hine is tied up, but he lays it off, keeps it in the offensive zone. Port Huron recovers though.
50 seconds.
Alex Palmerville almost on the end of this one. Palmerville down in the corner, fires it out to his winger. On it now, Fred Hine lays it off there. Turner.
40 seconds.
A shot there, a hard shot off the stick of Mitch Atkins, swallowed up by Simons. Another important save there, as we've seen these goalies really turn it on here in the last couple of minutes, especially Jesse Gordachuk, who's been asked to do his job in extensive ways over and over again.
This is the time you want Fred Hine's line out on the ice.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Hine out there on the right wing with Atkins and Turner, who's found himself elevated into the first line. Hine actually
30 seconds.
Now on the other end of it is Port Huron coming the other way. Hine's gonna slap this one down the ice over the head of Simons. That was as perfectly placed as you could get to go behind the goal.
Fred Hine doing a good job with that active stick, keeping from having a big play the other way. And now we got more shenanigans and pushing and shoving along the boards. 19 seconds left here, Nate. This one is gonna be nerve-wracking right down to the end. Maybe somebody from Port Huron has a time machine. I hope not. With that remark a while back.
Face-off is frozen up by the referee here.
All it's going to take is a nice little win on this face-off by Slade. And the Dashers well positioned to get a nice shot off here.
Thrown off of that one.
Slade fighting hard for that puck.
Now Port Huron coming the other way.
10 seconds.
Very tight down the stretch here. Port Huron maybe getting the last chance. That was a delayed offside, so they won't. Almost a sloppy turnover there. But this clock is going to run out, and we're going to go to overtime.
Woo! Tree after tree. Trees is wild there, Nate.
Yeah, it looks like it. We got threes wild on the scoreboard. We're going to go to overtime here at the David S. Palmer Arena, our first overtime game of the season at all for the Dashers, and definitely here at home.
Oh, this is when it gets a little too exciting. I'm not so sure either team I would give the advantage to here in this overtime period. We've had periods where the Dashers had the clear advantage. Then we had times when Port Huron would grab the advantage. Two very evenly matched teams here tonight.
Tough sledding for both teams, honestly. Port Huron getting together, kind of rallying the troops there. It looked like actually number 17, Hatham Oid, they're kind of rallying his guys as they get out onto the ice, and this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this one.
Palmerville, Bukal, Atkins, Hine on the ice for your Dashers.
And we've got about 1:48 until we get going here in overtime. It's going to be a lot of fun. And man, both teams really working for this one. They're both going to come out with at least a point in the end as well.
And Dashers coming out with their best offensive combo here to start the overtime. It'll be interesting to see. I would imagine we'll see, I would say Robertson He's got to be out on the ice. Maybe nippered.
We have a special guest actually tuning into the stream here. I don't know if you're aware of Mr. Harry Black, whose very, very large shoes I am filling in right now, both literally and metaphorically filling in for, and with jokes, obviously. But Harry, it's good to see you're tuning in. He's now, I do believe, working for ESPN now, so he's in the big leagues of broadcasting. So thanks for tuning in, Harry. Come back soon.
I loved listening to the broadcasts last year with you and Harry doing the games. Fantastic job.
And working straight out of Bristol, Connecticut. That's got to be wild. Working for ESPN, man. I feel like you're a celebrity, Harry.
I would say that I miss hearing you on the broadcast, Harry, but I'm enjoying the Christmas spending money working these games. So. Little selfishness there, but did a great jobs on the broadcast with you last year, Nate. The two of you were great to listen to.
That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Taught me a lot about hockey. He and Mr. Marcus Grayznick as well, who may tune in from time to time here. And two very large shoes to fill in the long run, not to mention the guys that came before them as well. Tommy Pecoraro et al. Lots of impressive people and lots of impressive players coming from the Dashers as well.
5 minutes on the scoreboard, but I'm going to make a prediction that we're going to only see about a minute and a half of it before we see somebody score.
3-on-3 hockey. It's Bukal out there now. Going to play the lone defense role. Fred Hine out there for the Dashers. Mitch Atkins, a good three line out there for Port Huron. Number 51, Matt Graham. Number 16, Brian Parsons.
Wide open. You make a mistake on the offense, the other side's going to have an odd man break.
Atkins on it now. And Atkins, a shot kind of blocked up. This one's going to come out wide. If he can get on it, it'll be Matt Graham coming down the other side. Bukal blows a tire. Matt Graham with a chance.
Trouble.
Graham with a shot. It's skated away there by Jesse Gordachuk. Big save, Jesse Gordachuk.
Bukal's speed got him back in the play, but then losing the edge. Ice is all chopped up after a full period of play. Loses the skate, and Port Huron with 3-on-1 basically, but Gordachuk comes up big between the pipes again.
There's no Zamboni going into overtime. As Danville wins the faceoff, that's important. Palmerville behind here now. Nigel Slade out there, Patrick Zylak, the two-part goal scorer. Palmerville carries.
Port Huron pushing up with that press, and Dashers not able to break it with a long pass.
Palmerville doing an important job getting to the end of that one. He's actually just going to send it around here. He's going to have to be careful to get back.
Look
now he
out.
does not do so. Federley's speedy as Gordachuk actually plays this one back to Palmerville.
Good job by Gordachuk reading that play.
Palmerville over to Slade. Slade carries through now, going to have a chance. Slade drops it to Zylak. Zylak can't carry on with it, though. Zylak thrown to the ground. Nothing called here. Brad Denny, the lone man against three Port Huron Prowlers. Jesse Gordachuk going to have to stand tall. He does.
Oh, big stop.
And Brad Denny with it now. He's going to have to carry over. Nobody coming off the bench there for Danville. Bad shift change, Brad Denny. Bormanis ends up with it. He's tripped up there. No call as a stick is even lost. Port Huron's going to be down a man with a long way to go. Here's Denny carrying it on. Denny elects to carry. Denny with a shot off the side of Simons.
Crowd very unhappy with that last no call.
And carrying it back, Port Huron, a nice interception there, a crucial interception from Christus Bormanis. Almost finds the 5-hole there, number 51, Matt Graham, to find Gullo. Instead, a fight for it behind. Bormanis on it now. A shot is blocked up nicely there by number 51, Matt Graham. Now coming the other way, Port Huron with a shot from the left side off the face mask. Jesse Gordachuk, crucial, absolutely dire save. Brad Denny collects. Denny been out there for a while. You look for probably him to get a shift change coming out. Got to get Fred Hine back out on the ice at some point as well. Denny carrying it on now. Has carried over into an offensive sort of position here, and he does well with it. He puts it out in front of the net, and instead it's going to be collected here by Bormanis, who has to shove it back down the ice. Picked up by Gullo. Gullo coming on, 3-on-1. Gullo with a shot to the glove side, just high. Actually, as Bukal gets back out there, Fred Hine also out there. the bearded duo. Bukal with a nice stick check there to get the puck back. Bukal now carries over his own blue line to his right winger. Out there, Atkins. Bukal with a shot on Simons. Simons actually covers that one up, and we're going to have a face-off here in front of Corey Simons. 2:01 left in the first overtime.
All kinds of chances, both sides. But the goaltender's coming up big between the pipes for both sides as well. Great, outstanding job by Jesse Gordichuk and by Simmons. Just unbelievable, the goaltending we've seen here in overtime.
Port Huron wins the face-off here, coming down the other side. On it now, Federley. Federley passes through, and that one's going to go right to Danville. Trying to make his way up with it, Atkins, Slade on the other side. Atkins on it now. Port Huron going to have an offensive chance. Jesse Gordichuk, wide open spaces. We're going to have a penalty called.
Oh.
And you got to think that's actually going to be a tripping penalty, it looked like, but we'll see. Bukal making his way to the bench.
Yeah, this is going to get nasty here. Minute 38 left.
This is tough.
And they're going to be 4-on-3 hockey now.
Nigel Slade, Alex Palmerville, Nick Gullo out there. You could almost throw an additional defender out there with Alex Palmerville, who's kind of good at playing in that forward kind of hybrid spot that you see so commonly now.
They're going to need to make good clearing shots here.
Matt Robertson, the extra man out there. Danville throws this one successfully down out of the zone. 1:33 left to go. They're going to be down a man for the remainder of the period. Danville going to have to do a job. It's up to Jesse Gordichuk here again. Palmerville on it now, 4-on-2 for Port Huron. Throwing it through, Port Huron back out onto the man, Matt Robertson at the top. Coming back from the point, they're going to work this one around to the corner with Federley. Federley, a shot off the bar and in. Port Huron takes the win here on the road. And they are swarming Federley. A game-changing call, to say the least there. The tripping penalty and 3-on-3.
Can't argue with the call, the last call, but there were a lot of no calls that were made, so.
And one might argue that after all the no calls is the reason you could argue with the last call, Dennis, and that's the nature of things, though. That's how hockey goes. At least you got a point, I guess, if you're the Danville Dashers, but Port Huron now firmly in the second place spot heading in to tomorrow night's game. The Dashers drop a tough one on the road. They're not going to be too thrilled about that one.
Has to be a tough loss for this team to absorb, because while there were some shenanigans going from both sides after the play, there was more no calls that went against the Dashers tonight. They got to be very disappointed, but once again, saluting the crowd as they head on off.
And the crowd saluting the referees, if you know what I mean, Dennis.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think we were a little too wide on that shot, so I apologize.
We're going to have to rate this PG-13.
To all the sensitive people out there, but the fans very, very upset with the lack of officiating that we saw here tonight.
And you got to think, if that is the case tomorrow, it's going to boil over. And that will not be pretty for either team, in all honesty.
No, but I'd say the star of the game's got to be Fairfield in. I think.
Yeah.
I think
definitely.
If I say Fairfield in, we'll get one of the stars. I think I've got a good chance here.
I think Fairfield in might get 2 of the stars, Dennis. I think we might see it.
It's a possibility.
As I think Patrick Zylak will probably get the lone star here for Danville on the night. Although the other night we saw Danville win a score of 5-2 in Delaware and get 1 star.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure.
A little home cooking there for the Stars that night.
It raised a few questions amongst the staff on both sides, actually. It's always good when both sides of the media are kind of just like, wait, what? You did what now? Patrick Zylak going to get the 3rd star.
Good call there, Nate.
Yeah, 2 goals on the night, and much deserved.
A lot of hustle plays too all night. Very solid game.
Worth mentioning here, Port Huron actually outshot Danville in the end, 49-42, with 4 shots in overtime to Danville's 1. Port Huron scored a goal in every period, including overtime here. Danville failed to score when it counted in the 3rd period and overtime.
Tough loss for the home team. Very disheartening loss, but I have a feeling the boys are going to bounce back tomorrow night and take their anger out on this Port Huron Prowler club.
You would think so. In the long run, Ben Bukal actually called for hooking on that last penalty for what it's worth. Matt Stoya got the assist on the Austin Federley goal. And apparently we're not going to get the other 2 stars announced, which is intriguing to say the least. We'll get them for you in a minute here when the FPHL sends them our way.
I think that was a little home team being upset with the way this one ended.
Yeah, you kind of got to wonder. And it's funny because it is the officials that call the stars, so you would think they would be proud.
I just don't think they got announced is the
Austin
problem.
Federley getting the game winner, obviously. The first star on the night. Matt Stoya, the 3rd star, did say he had a really active night on the defensive end. He also had 2 assists with 2 points out of those 4 goals that Port Huron scored. Well, Port Huron coming from behind to beat the Dashers here at home. A chippy game, to say the least, and an interesting game, to say the least, and a good game. In all fairness, it was a good game. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of.
2 well-matched teams. The fans got a little bit of extra free hockey tonight. They go home a little bit disgusted with the outcome, but they'll be back in ugly sweaters tomorrow night to root on the hometown squad.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun tomorrow night. Ugly sweater night and a lot of good stuff going on. It's going to be really fun. You know, it's going to be an entertaining night, as always. Saturday night here at the downtown Danville David S. Palmer Arena. Ugly sweater night. You could win a prize if you wear an ugly sweater tonight. Stay after the game also for an autograph session with the boys. That'll be a lot of fun. We have a lot of games coming up here, actually, at the David S. Palmer Arena. Before the too long here, let me tell you, Dennis, that game went quick. It's only 9:43 Central, and we're about to head out of here.
It's crazy when you get a lot of up and down action. That first period, we barely saw a stoppage in play. So good aggressive game tonight. I do think that if we would have had the referees step in, you would have avoided the chippy stuff, and we would have had an even more entertaining game. But both sides played tough tonight. There's no doubt about it. We said it was going to be an evenly matched game coming in. The Dashers gave up a couple of cheap goals, to be honest with you, where there was opportunities to clear the puck and just didn't get it done. So the defense kind of let Jesse Gordichuk down a little bit tonight. I think he had a little better game in the net than the stats will end up showing tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, very interesting as well. Now Port Huron 8-2 in their last 10. Danville falls to 6-4. Around the league tonight, just before we head out, Elmira ended up winning 6-5 in Battle Creek, coming from a large deficit. Carolina 5-1 over Menor. The Columbus River Dragons 6-3 over Delaware Thunder, and the Danbury Hat-Tricks getting the 10-win streak in Danbury against Watertown. Well, that was a 5-2 game and a 4-3 game here at the David S. Palmer Arena. We'll be back tomorrow night for another round of Danville Dashers hockey. For Dennis Michelson, I'm Nate Williamson. Have a good night, everybody, and if I don't talk to you before then, Merry Christmas to you, yours, and even those you don't like.